Mondays with Mikey and Murf. We talking Raiders and football dirt. Cause it's a second year of our show. We having good times. Let's go. It's Mondays with Mikey and Murf. Time for the raps and the thumbs. I'm Mikey Raider. He's Murf from the Fan Cave. We're doing it big. We're doing it all day. Raid's about to explode on the scene. Hard Knocks HBO. You feel me? We're going to do it big with a lot of drama. Everybody knows because I ain't your mama. I'm Mikey Raider, and we're here to say we love you. It's the Raider way. It's Mondays with Mikey and Murf. We talking Raiders and football dirt. Come on, Murf, because it's a what? New Raider talk show. We having good times. Let's go. It's Mondays with Mikey and Murf. That's right. What's up, Murf? Welcome to season 2. We have not been canceled. YouTube has not given us our copyright strikes officially, and we are still on the air for a second season. And we're doing it big.
We've been renewed, man. That's pretty awesome. There's a lot of TV shows out there, Mikey, that did not pick up their renewal for season 2. That is not the case here on Air Nation and Mondays with Mikey and Murf. We're back, man. We're back, and this is going to be a fun one. There's going to be a lot of Raider stuff going on this off season or early in the preseason, and so it's going to be a good time, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking of a good time, I just got finished with a partial bloody nose, and you know what it was from? Vontaze Burfict knocked me the F out. He was like Mikey Raider. Boom.
Well,
so he's in Hard Knocks form already.
Well, you've been knocked out by worse, so there you go.
That's right. I've been knocked out by life, but I get up fighting. Why? Because I'm a Raider, and it's Raider strong. Hashtag all day. All right, we got a great show coming up. We got a training camp mini preview. We got a Hard Knocks preview. And then Joshua Jacobs responded about the contract rumors to me personally.
I think we might have a direct line to old JJ on this episode, huh?
Mikey Raider's getting some quality fringe in the Twitterverse.
Absolutely, man. That's pretty interesting. I can't wait. That's probably out of all the rundown for tonight. That's the story that I'm looking forward to most because I'm curious to not only hear your experience, your direct exchanges. Oh, I'm selling the lead here a little bit, but I'm curious to hear about the communication. I'll just say that, and I'm curious to hear the feedback in the chat. I can't read the chat as we're doing the show, but I always love to go back and read the chat. So please send us plenty of feedback during this episode so I can go back and get what your take is on it, Raider Nation.
There it is. So Murf, quickly tell everybody about your channel in case they just watched this portion of the video, and all your links will be down below.
Awesome. So yeah, let me spit it out here. I have a podcast network called, it's been a little while, right? I have a podcast network called Murf's Fan Cave. That's MURFS Fan Cave. You can find our show on any podcast service from Google Play to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere where you can listen to a podcast. You can find our network of shows. Just search Murf's Fan Cave. That includes this show, the audio version of Mondays with Mikey and Murf. That gets our flagship show, which is Raiders Fan Radio that I co-host with my Uncle Mosh. That gets you the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead, Tom, and Fitz. That is a Raiders fan club show where they talk to different fan clubs around the country of not only other Raider clubs, but of competitive teams, clubs as well. And they also go off the rails a little bit. They talk a lot about food and beer and a lot of rock and roll. And so it's a really, really cool show. And then the fourth show that's on the network now is called Tales from the Nation. And that is where I do a show with my buddy Swag Jeff. He joins me here in the Fan Cave about every 2 or 3 weeks. We've been doing it, and we take a significant moment in Raiders history. So the first 3 episodes we've done has been the Heidi Bowl. We did Derek Carr breaking his leg, and then most recently 3 moments from the Super Bowl, from the Raiders' 3rd Super Bowl victory. Marcus Allen running with the night, Jack Squirek's interception, and Derek Jensen's block punt for a touchdown. We covered those 3 moments, and I'll tell you, Mikey, I've been doing this podcast thing for a long time, and I got a lot of favorite things to do, including this show. But, doing something new and fresh like Tales from the Nation has been an absolute blast, and going back and reliving these moments in Raider history has just been awesome. And even on a show like where Derek Carr broke his leg, as tough as that was, it was really interesting to go back and kind of relive it and then hear the feedback. Like, it's kind of like the where were you when this happened kind of thing, right? So it's been a lot of fun. So definitely support us, Murf's Fan Cave, at any podcast service. And then you can also find us on the youtube.com/Murf's Fan Cave.
And I'll just cut you off there because we are running behind today late. But hey, that's my fault as well. But long story short, we're actually going to get into Tales from the Nation a little bit. Hopefully we got time for that. But I want to let everybody know this show gets around 2,000 views, maybe 3,000. If all of you go to Murf's channel and subscribe, he should at least get 2,000 subscribers. So I know some of you guys are fans. So please, whether you hit the like button or the dislike button, comment below, dislike us, hate us, love us, or go to Murf's channel and subscribe. He should get more subscribers this season.
Thank you, Mikey.
Please, for support. All right, Murf, it's time for the headlines, breadlines, deadlines. It's actually a debate segment now, but Murf, Rent is actually at the Pantages Theater this entire week.
Nice. Are you going to go?
I'm trying to win the lottery for $25 tickets because I can't afford like $120 orchestra seats. So I'm trying to win the lottery. It's time for the headline, deadlines, breadlines, deadlines. Murf, I want to go see Rent.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. All right, there we are. This is called the Great Debate segment. That's what I call it. So during this debate, we're all going to talk. And if I can get my ding computer noise up in the background. Again, this is season 2. We're starting off with some problems.
Well, it's a fresh start on the new season. And while you're doing that, I will give you a kudos, Mikey. The new set is fantastic. You did a great job putting this thing together. The show looks fantastic.
I appreciate it. Where's my music? Where's my music at? There it is. I don't know why it ain't playing. There we go. We got music in the background.
Okay. All right.
I need music in the background.
Okay.
All right. Long story short, this is called the Great Debate segment where we talk about 4 or 5 topics and we kind of debate or we tell our stories, whether you agree with Murf or me or I don't care who. But for me, just because on screen the like button is on my side and the dislike button's on Murf's side.
Mikey, you are the master debater, so you know.
If you like Murf and what he has to say about any subject or this entire show, give a dislikes down. And then if you like me, give a thumbs up. Either way, I don't care. And I hope you win, Murf. I hope you win. I'm not afraid of dislikes anymore on this channel. I got over it. I don't care anymore.
Okay.
Because
I like it.
That means they like you. You get it?
Ah, I see.
That's why I like dislikes now, because that means they like you.
Oh, well, no. Well, man, I don't want to see a bunch of thumbs downs on here, though, man. That doesn't help the show, does it?
You don't want to see a bunch of thumbs up. That means I win.
Okay. Well, but
in terms of the Great Debate.
But if you win, then we all win, Mikey, because here on Air Nation, the more thumbs ups are better than more thumbs down. So
I don't know. I'm just trying to give fan activity.
Just comment. Just comment.
The likes is good for the algorithm of YouTube. It makes them put my videos in recommended in sports categories.
Yeah, so upvote it with the thumbs up and then give us your vote in the comment section, Mikey or Murf, right? That way we get both?
Even dislikes, YouTube likes it because it means the fans are responding to the content.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Well, then thumbs down away, folks.
Yeah, like I said, if you like Murf and everything he says, thumbs it down. You like me, thumbs it up.
Okay.
I don't care either.
All right.
David Escobar, thank you for the donations. And let's get rolling with the so-called Great Debate. All right. Josh Jacobs' holdout is now entering its 3rd day. There's no daily time frame for Josh Jacobs' holdout. But let's just quickly read what the possible rumors are or subjections on this. This is all speculation out of the words of some famous Raider reporters and other people like Mike Florio that you don't like. But it's all speculation. It is not gospel, and it is not out of the words of Jacob's mouth, his representation, or the Raiders. So here we go. According to Victor Fur of The Athletic, it's issues with the signing bonus payment schedule that has the two sides unreachable to reach an agreement. And this could continue into training camp. Then also, according to The Athletic's Victor Fur, negotiations with running back Josh Jacobs have not been going well, and a potential training camp holdout looms. Then Pro Football Talks. Mike, I know you don't like him, Murf. Pro Football Talks.
Yeah, there's
Mike
a thumbs down already just because you're referencing Florio.
Pro Football Talks. Mike Florio posted the disconnect stems from differences in guaranteed money. Since all the players that were drafted before Jacobs, they received their entire guarantees through all their 4 years of their rookie deals. Whereas everybody that was drafted after Joshua Jacobs did not get their guaranteed monies. So the 23rd overall pick got all 4 years guaranteed, and that's what they believe Joshua Jacobs is trying to get at the position of 24 for being a draft pick. But the difference in guaranteed money that he might be losing in non-guarantees is only $300,000, according to the scale. So Pro Football Talk goes on to say that basically the two sides are fighting over whether the last $300,000 or so of Jacob's salary in 2022 will or will not be fully guaranteed. In the event he becomes a bust and is no longer playing for the team by then, if that's the holdup, it would make plenty of sense for the Raiders to hurry up and blink. And that may be precisely what Jacobs' agent is counting on. So talk about your instant reaction to all this.
Well, so the way that I understand it is that this, and I haven't, in the reporting, they haven't used this term, but in past in history, when, whether it be related to the Raiders or other players that come in, there's really not much negotiation to be had for rookie deals. The way that the new collective bargaining agreement is, it prevents teams from falling into the traps of a Jamarcus Russell, right? Where you give away millions and millions and millions of dollars and then the player doesn't work out and then it ends up hampering your team for the next however many years. In the Raiders case with Jamarcus, it was like 5+ years, and some could even say that it was longer than that, that it really screwed us up, right? Like it was such a big miss that it just crushes your team. You look at what Sam Bradford did to the Rams. You look at like there's a long list of players that this happened to. So there's not a lot of negotiation there. The way that I understand it, and again, the term that's not been reported here recently, that is offset language. So I don't know if you've ever heard that before, Mikey, but that's what's negotiated. Well, in the gist of it, of offset language is this, is that it guarantees the money for the player should they be cut before their rookie contract is out. So if he's a bust after year 2 and the Raiders cut him, or if he gets hurt or whatever else and he gets cut, then basically his paychecks go away. So what they negotiate is whether this offset language is in there that's favorable to the player to where whatever happens to him, his contract is fully guaranteed. Now, I'm of the opinion, this is just me here, that when you're talking about the amount of money, and I'm going to be critical of the Raiders, which you know me, I'm not a fan of just hollering and being critical of the team, but I'm going to be critical in this aspect. You gave out a lot of money this year in free agency. You did a lot to acquire your draft picks. You did a lot to get Josh Jacobs at that position at number 24. And in fact, look at the players that you parted with in order to create the draft picks to be able to do this. So let's not get hung up over $3,000. Let's not let a dime get in the
300 grand. 300.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So let's not let a dime get in the way of a dollar here. Like you're talking about, look, in the terms of an NFL salary, in terms of team salary, 300 grand is nothing. Like it's a pittance compared. So if you have enough faith in the man to draft him at number 24, then just give him the damn guaranteed money and let's move on with it. Now, there is another aspect of this in the way that he is handling it, and I'll wait and reserve my comments till after I hear from you first, because I think that's another thing that's another part of the discussion. But in terms of the dollars, let's get it done, Raiders. Let's move on from this thing. Let's get it going. You know, and I don't have any doubt that it's going to get done. It will get done in time for camp. I don't think he's going to be a holdout or anything. But this, you know, come on, man, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, you were speaking of offset language that, you know, whether he gets cut or he's a bust, whether he gets all that fully guaranteed money or not. But again, the money is called guaranteed for a reason. So even if he gets cut, the money of the contract is guaranteed, just minus apparently $300,000. So we're not going to talk about that because we don't know if that's a rumor, if that's the truth, and we're going to discuss that a little bit more in a second. But I will go into do I have an issue with this holdout? In terms of a player's perspective, no. But coming off of Gruden and contract issues last year for this team with Khalil Mack, it looks bad, whether it be for Josh Jacobs on some situational level or the Raiders organization or Gruden. Is Gruden saying, you know what, I don't ever want to be bullied even for $300,000 by agents? Because Gruden possibly has an agent issue in his head from Joel Siegel and all the agents last year. And he's like, what the hell? And maybe Gruden is trying to prove a point to future Raiders where, you know what? This is the contract. This is what it is. We got a rookie scale. Deal with it. And I don't know, but
which is a fair point. And I think that's a fair way to look at it as well, where I just came out on the other side of it. Like, look, let's just move on from it. But you're right. If the contention is the principle of it, then I would support Gruden in that. I mean, because again, we don't know, right? Like you said, we don't know what the actualities of it because we're not there in Alameda. But that's a great point, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, Raiders have been taking advantage ever since Gruden got on the team by agents, players wanting to leave, and all that. And is his agent taking this opportunity or whatever, just to, I mean, if it's only $300,000, even his agent, that would be like a commercial deal for Josh Jacobs. That would be like a movie deal for Josh Jacobs or something like that, where it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But again, it's probably not that. So it's just conjecture or rumors. But long story short, I think Gruden and the Raiders before training camp, they're digging their heels in and they're trying to show a little bit of strength. And then that begs me to believe, why does Josh Jacobs have this strength? It's not Josh Jacobs. When we're talking about Josh Jacobs from now on, I want you guys to think of his agent.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but when I say the word Josh Jacobs, hold out, think of his agent, okay? Out of respect for Josh Jacobs.
That's a great point.
Long story short, Josh Jacobs' agent, he's in it to make money, and he wants to get clients. If he could prove that he gets, on top of the rookie scale, this entire guaranteed money, a player got guaranteed money last year as well for a holdout, Roquan Smith. So, the standard has kind of been set. So this agent wants to prove to the Raiders that he's got the power. He wants to prove to future clients that he can get them their money. And then on top of that, why is the agent doing this? Well, because they have the power. Josh Jacobs was told by Gruden when he was drafted by Mayock that they're going to use him in a million different ways. They already got him on the field at wide receiver positions. So Josh Jacobs' agent goes, the Raiders need Josh Jacobs so we can prove this point. So Josh Jacobs and his agent, they're coming from a power position. But then the Raiders are also trying to keep the power that they kind of lost last year. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So I don't see here who his agent is, but it's Sports International Group is who he signed with when he got done with his career at Alabama.
His agent is Sig.
There you go, Siggy. But that's a great
Siggy.
That's a great point that it is, and essentially these guys are lawyers, and their job is to maximize the earning potential of their clients. That's their job. Well, just like you would in any settlement or anything else, like that's any negotiation. That's their job. So I get it. I mean, I get it. And I don't even necessarily begrudge them. We may not like it as fans, but I don't begrudge them. The thing that I want you to build on a little bit, and I'll give you my thoughts after hearing yours. Talk to me about the way that what he is responsible for in this. So tell us about what. He's been active on social media. He's not been shy with a lot of his position on this thing. Talk a little about that, because I think that's a little bit different of a dynamic, because he is a little bit of a sounding board on his own behalf here. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah. We were going to get into that in a quick second. I just wanted to say
okay. All right.
Another, I hate saying the word rumor or a fear of mine, because I have a lot of fears. I mean, some players have proven they don't want to play for the Raiders. And coming from Josh Jacobs' status of being drafted by the Raiders, if he had any reservations, which I don't think he does, but I'm just saying this might be an Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers situation. where they were drafted. They didn't really want to play for that team. Maybe they try to get traded. I don't think it's that. So I'm just letting you guys know. I'm going off.
Well, I hope not, and I hope him and Amari Cooper aren't buddies, Alabama buddies here, because if this is the case, we'll never draft another Alabama player. We'll just keep getting them out of Clemson.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I don't know what's going on, but I can't imagine
that would be the case. But you're right, though. I mean, there's something there. There's something there. There's something funky about the way this has gone down because of the way that he's. And I know you're talking about here in a minute, but because of the way he's addressed it on social media, something just doesn't sit right with me on this.
Yeah. So, like, whether he loves John Gruden or not, I mean, who truly knows what's going on? Because a lot of people, they're afraid of John Gruden or they don't want to play for him or agents or whatever the situation may be. Give me 1 second. Let me get this video going. Hey, I got graphics galore. I'm trying my best.
Looking good, Mikey.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what that is. All right, long story short, Josh Jacobs took to Twitter and to Instagram, you know, when Raider Nation was basically calling him or let's say his agent out and saying, come on, sign already, hashtag sign already. Josh Jacobs went to an insecure place, and then he just told everybody, I'm going to block you if you contact me. But in a weird way, he shouldn't be involved. He should just write everybody, I hope to be on the field as soon as possible. I want to be a part of Raider Nation and all that. You know, he let the fears and the insecurities and the pain get to him. But this is what he wrote on Twitter, which he soon deleted, which blocking everybody that asked me about a contract. Okay, so you don't want to talk about it. Well, why not? Just say something publicly, very easy. You know, it'll get handled. My agent's handling it, and I can't wait to be a Raider.
Exactly.
Then he made this video, and this shows more of his personality instead of a tweet. And you know, let's just see if I can get this video going. Whoops.
I swear on everything, everybody that send me this or comment this or anything getting blocked straight up. Y'all don't know the logistics that go to anything, so don't come at me because it ain't my fault, straight up.
So long story short, he said, it ain't my fault. You guys don't know the logistics about anything and all that. But again, why address Raider Nation in a negative fashion when he feels bad about it? He wants to be a Raider. I'm sure he does. He wishes it was all done. But your agent, apparently your agent's doing a good job trying to get you the money, but your agent ain't doing a good job in terms of public relations and treating you how to treat a fan base. Josh Jacobs, you can't say this. You're a public persona. We love you. You cannot show anger at a fan base that just wants you to be a Raider. So you presented anger to the Raider fan base. So that's why some of us got a little salty at you, bro. And now we're blaming you. Like, does he want to be a Raider? This and that. Because it sounds like you're against the fan base. Your agent needs to do a better job of you handling public relations this early in your career. That's all I'm going to say about that. Murf, address how you feel about this shit.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, and I think that's the key, my key takeaway on this thing is that you can't get hooked. You know, if I could give this young man some advice, and I know that he's aware of your show and your comments on some of this stuff, you can't engage, man. Like you can't. You know, he put out another series of tweets, and one of the last ones that he put out, it might have even been today, where he said people just need to mind their own business, you know, or people need to stay out of my business or something like that. And I'm like, you know what, Josh, dude, you're a public figure now, man. Whether you like it or not. This is the life that comes with the NFL, and you can't get hooked. You're on the precipice of realizing your dream. You've been playing this game your whole life, and you've had this dream your entire life to play in the NFL. Don't let little petty BS stuff like this get in the way of that. And if this is getting in his head, we haven't even started the season yet, and the fans are getting in his head, my advice to him would be put Twitter down, walk away and go and handle your business and do your thing. And like you just said, let your agent handle it. Let them be the sounding board for it. Let them be the ones to communicate, because you can't engage with Raider Nation like this. Look, and I appreciate the accessibility Like I appreciate his willingness to engage, but you can't do this, man. You can't do this to yourself, because all you're going to do is set a negative precedent. And already what it's done is, in terms of a fan report on this, you got some fans that are saying he needs to sign. Then you got another group of fans that are saying leave him alone. And now here it is. Once again, we got another story in Raider Nation where we got half the fans against half the fans, and we're fighting about it. It's just so stupid. It drives me nuts. So, Josh, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not doing the fans any favors. And I promise you, nobody inside the walls of Alameda think you're doing them any favors by communicating this stuff. So my advice to you would be, put Twitter away. Just go do what you got to do. Handle your business the way you need to handle it. If you don't want people you want people to mind their own, then don't give them any ammunition. Then don't give them any opportunity to respond and engage with you. Just remove yourself from the equation and it will all go away. I promise you.
Yeah. So in retrospect, I don't like drama, but I posted a tweet about the video that I made a couple days back about the contract situation. And he actually responded to my tweet. And I never thought that would happen in a million years. That means some Raider players are actually tuned into my videos or what's going on. But he just wrote back a simple words of, I don't care. And then I was just like, what? I didn't say anything bad in the video. I'm a 100% Josh Jacobs fan. I am still a Josh Jacobs fan. I don't think this is being handled correctly by a lot of people, but I'm still a 100% Josh Jacobs fan. I mean, I love you, Josh. So he actually contacted me through DMs on Twitter, and this is what he wrote, as you can see on screen. He just quickly told me that he feels that all this situation that most people just don't know, and it's not over what people think. So I'm going to just leave it alone, and I've only talked to them once. I don't know if he's referring to Vic Tafur when he said he's only talked to them once per that article, but he said, I'm just going to leave it alone. Well, please do what you say. Just leave it alone. Respect the process, bro. Just tell. And then I wrote him in response. I said, if I can give you any advice, we all love you. We want you to be a Raider. It'll happen. And in the words of the Beatles, let it be, of the famous song. And then he wrote me back and I said, we know you're a humble guy, but I believe he respects Raider Nation so much. Like me and you, Murf, like we want everybody to love us. You know what I mean? Like we make videos, everything we say, we want them to love us. And he comes from a homeless, his father, he has all those insecurities and he wants to be loved. And right now, because of the contract holdout, some people are not loving on him, so they're hating on him. So then he retreats to a negative environment like I did last year. So he's a great human. He's humble. He wants to be a Raider. He just doesn't know how to handle this situation because he's never been in it and he's never seen it from Raider Nation. So if I offered him advice, I said, let it be. Just tell him publicly that you can't wait to be a Raider. You're going to ball out and you can't wait to get on the field. That's it. That's all you need to say.
Yep.
So Josh Jacobs, if you watch this by chance, there's no hatred, brother. We love you. It ain't your fault. Get your money, secure your future any way possible. I am not taking sides, brother. I want you to get your money, but I want you to be a Raider first and foremost, dude. I love you.
Well said, Mikey.
Thank you, brother. I can't believe they responding to me.
Heck yeah, you must be getting a lot of thumbs up on that because you nailed it right there. I'm not even going to say anything in response because that's perfect.
All right, Murf, it's segment change time, and we got new music that goes with this segment. You can't hear it, but you'll hear it later.
Okay.
It's Hard Knocks time. And speaking of Hard Knocks, do you quickly think the Josh Jacobs situation will actually go into the first? Remember, Murf, we're in our 1-year anniversary, and we had the same conversation about Khalil Mack last year at this time.
Yep.
And do you think the holdout will go into training camp?
No, because this is different. This one is different. That you have Khalil Mack was an established stud and seeking that second contract, which is the biggie, as we all know. This is different. There's just not a lot of room to negotiate here. Where when you're talking about signing a guy, what was Mack's final number? I don't even remember now. It's been so many. I remember it's 90 million guaranteed, but you're talking about 90 million guaranteed versus 300 grand. You know what I mean? So like, it's a way different dynamic of what's going on. So
if that's what it is, if that is what it is.
Yeah. Which, and again, there's not a lot there can't be, it's not a very complicated deals. The rookie contracts are the rookie contracts. There's not a lot of,
I mean, that's why this holdout feels weird.
Yeah.
Again, there's a pay scale. It seems like it's already done. It
is. It's usually just sign on the line. I mean, that's it. And then only that offset language is, and even it's not that negotiable. There's only, like you said, a small portion of it. So I don't know, man. It is kind of strange. So no, I don't think that it's going to get done. And here's the thing. You think Josh Jacobs look, and you said you loved him. I love him too. So Josh, if you catch this, just know this is coming from a place of support and love. We just want you to be a Raider, okay? But if you think that Raider Nation is messing with you a little bit now and that they're getting in your business and you're hearing noise now,
they kill me.
Wait till we get started and wait till you're on Hard Knocks, brother. Oh my gosh. You think your freaking Twitter feed is feisty now? You just hold out during Hard Knocks, man. Dude, don't subject yourself to that. Let's all not subject ourselves to this. Raiders and Josh Jacobs and the agent and everybody involved, man. Let's put a pin on this thing and let's move on from it.
I'll be honest. I think it will last the first 2 or 3 days of training camp. Not much further. The reason why is because the rookies come in on July 23rd. Then that's when maybe if Gruden or whoever's digging their heels in, they're trying to see who blinks. So if he doesn't show up, which he probably won't, then they're immediately going to get on negotiations, and it'll be a storyline on Hard Knocks like it was with the Jets in the first couple episodes with Darrelle Revis back in the day.
But again, though, that was a big contract. That was different. That was like the Mac contract. That was a big old fat contract that Revis was trying to.
Joey Bosa had the same thing last year with the Chargers. Even though it wasn't on Hard Knocks, he had the same thing a couple years back with the Chargers where he didn't show up till 13, 14 days into training camp, and then he missed a couple weeks.
Yeah, but it's not uncommon. I mean, it happens in the NFL all the time. To go back to it, though, the thing that's weird about this one is that you're talking about a rookie. You're talking about a rookie there's not a lot of negotiation room there. So, I don't know, man.
That was the same thing with Joey Bosa. They still had that rookie scale then with Joey Bosa.
That's true. Good point.
But long story short, I think after he doesn't show up on the 23rd, they want to get him in before the veterans arrive on the 27th. So then all the offset language or the drama or people being insecure, maybe they'll figure it all out. It will not be a Khalil Mack situation. That's all I'm going to say. All right, here we go. Let's get the music in the background because it's Hard Knocks Raiders time. It's Hard Knocks. Let's do a rap. Yo, it's Hard Knocks. I'm going to try to rap just because it's fun.
Do it.
It's Hard Knocks. I grab around the block, a Mikey Raider. I do the talk show. Talk. Everybody knows my game. Murf Fan Cave, yo, we doing our thing. Yo, we here to let you know the biggest storylines. It's Mighty Days with Mikey and Murf all the time. Tune in, tune out, tune in and do this thing. It's Mondays with Mikey and Murf. Do your thing. It's Hard Knock Raiders. Hard Knock Raiders. Hard Knock Raiders. What you doing now? We're doing Hard Knock Raiders. What you gonna do? Knock hard freaking Raiders. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's have the song in the background while we talk Raiders.
Good job, Mikey. I think the kids call that a banger.
I don't know. I'm just having fun.
You did good.
It's Mondays with Mikey and Murf. That's what we got to do. Last year we had negativity because of my butt. And this year we're going to have positivity because of my butt. Let's go. All right. We got the Hard Knock song.
All right.
Let me turn it down. We get it in the background.
Okay.
All right. Is that the grassy knoll from JFK on the picture of Hard Knock?
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
And to the left. Back and to the left. Hey, do you believe in the Mandela effect?
I don't know what that is.
They say there's an effect where things change or people don't recollect it the same way. Like people thought Mandela passed away in the early 80s, but then it was in the 2000s. Or they call Jiffy peanut butter Jif now. And the Berenstain Bears are spelled differently. Look it up. It's a very interesting.
Sounds reasonable. It sounds like a reasonable thing that, if I were you, I wouldn't get too caught up in it. And not you particularly. The proverbial you.
But we got it for this show. Pick up your proverbial you t-shirts from our store. Hey, long story short, but in terms of the JFK assassination, there's now a third guy sitting in between them. Instead of the wife and the husband next to each other, there's a third person in the middle now.
When you say the wife and the husband, are you talking about Jackie and JFK?
Jackie, yeah, in front of them, there's three people. And for a lot of people's recollection,
in the car?
Remembered only two. Yeah, there's a third seat in the middle. And there's a third person. So they believe that, the Mandela effect, like our world is changing.
But it's not, there's not a third person in the Zapruder film. It's just the two of them.
No, watch it again. In the front seat, there's like 3 seats and there's like 3 people there.
You know who's a huge JFK, not a conspiracy theorist, but just a huge, I don't know, enthusiast for this story because he used to be a history teacher, is Uncle Mosh. Uncle Mosh is all about JFK stuff, man. I'll ask him. We're going to do Raiders. We're going to do Raiders Fan Radio tomorrow. He'll be here. I'll ask him about that, about the third person. And you know what'll end up happening? We'll end up going on a tangent and doing research on this for like an hour and a half instead of show prepping, and Raiders Fan Radio will be late. Thanks, Mikey.
No worries. No, it's called the Mandela effect. Again, some people remember it some way and some people remember it another way. Again, we don't know how he'll remember it. You'll remember it, but it's just interesting. It's called the Mandela effect. It's something fun to get into.
Okay,
but
cool.
Let's not talk about it. People don't like me and this and that. Let's talk about
Tell them to lighten up. It's July.
I know. We got nothing to talk about. These stories that we're rehashing, besides the Josh Jacob one, they've been done everywhere. Give me your best storylines. Like, first off, are you excited for Hard Knocks? And then what storylines do you think will arrive and that'll be fun to watch? Or, your best, what did I write down? I wrote biggest storylines, who's the breakout star, and who will be the villain of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, so as an overall, absolutely, I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to it. The more Raiders, the better. I'm in the bag for anything Oakland Raiders, and so and I love this type of television. Like I'm a big fan of documentaries, and I'm a big fan of football documentaries, and I love NFL films. I've been an NFL films junkie since I was a kid. I used to record them on VHS and watch them over and over again. And it's not even just the Raiders stuff. Of course, that's my favorite, but I love all of it, man. I love even teams I don't like. I mean, I'll watch an NFL films thing. I watched the Do Your Job thing with the Patriots, both of them. I watched the Two Bills is a fantastic one. All the All or Nothing series, the one with the Cardinals and then the Cowboys. And I mean, I'm just in the bag for all of it. So now that you add the Raiders to the mix, dude, it's like a dream for me. Yes, I can't wait. I'm just excited. I'll end up watching each episode a few times. Like I just eat this stuff up, man. It's great. It's just, and how do you not, as a Raider fan, how could you not? And there are many things I don't understand about fandom, but fandom is fandom, and it's up to whoever you are to define yours. But I don't understand anybody that would be against this. Like if you're a Raiders fan, like, why would you not want to know what's going on in meetings? Why would you not want to be in there? You know what I mean? To hear the conversations and to see how things unfold. And, there's always been so much speculation around the Raiders because they close their practices. The Raiders don't award a lot of media access. If you notice, Raider Nation, you don't see a bunch of Raiders out there doing interviews. If you listen to shows like Dan Patrick, you don't ever see a Raider on there. Occasionally you'll see Derek Carr out and about, but that's because the Raiders don't allow it. I know, because I've interviewed a handful of Raiders in my podcasting career, and it's like pulling teeth. You can't get access from the team. Like the Raiders don't award it. So to know that that's what we typically get with the Raiders, which is a lack of coverage, to now that we're going to literally have cameras and microphones inside the building in the meeting rooms, heck yeah, man, sign me up. I don't understand why anybody would be against it. So
many Raider Nation have that stupid philosophy. In my opinion, I call it stupid. It's going to cause drama. I mean, they got cameras in their face every day. Gruden is drama. I mean, what's the difference?
It's all drama. It's the NFL, man. All these guys have like you said, they become accustomed to it. It becomes second nature. You're talking about the most high-profile sport in our country, and some of the world-class athletes that are playing the sport, making and generating millions and billions of dollars. A TV show is not going to distract them. And I'll give the Pillaging Podcast guys credit for this because I heard it on their show that if we do have players that are quote distracted or somehow compromised by the Hard Knocks cameras, then they're not the kind of guys you want on the football team to begin with. Like if your guys, if we have a team that can't handle a couple extra microphones and cameras, then what the hell are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Storyline. What's going to be your favorite storyline that you're looking out to watch? Your biggest storyline?
I'm really excited for Derek Carr. Derek Carr's caught a lot of crap this offseason. Derek Carr has caught a lot of crap last season because of really the overall performance of the team, but his performance in some key moments. And he threw some bad picks last year. And look, he's got the numbers, and I think that he's got the overall talent. And I'm a Derek Carr guy. I mean, I am 100% thankful that he is our quarterback, and I think that as a leader and as physically as a football player and work ethic and all the things that go into it, I think he's the guy. I don't think there's anything you could ask for more from a starting quarterback. But the perception is not good right now. The perception is not, and the Raiders have now taken some major strides to put a talent around him, because that was the thing we all said last year. Well, he doesn't have the talent that like the Texans do or whatever. Like there are other teams that have so many more players around. So I'm excited for him because this will give him a chance to show himself off. Not that he's that kind of a guy that he's not going to use it as a platform to show himself off, but just their presence there will give us an insight into who Derek Carr is as a man, as a leader, and frankly, as a talented football player. So I'm excited for him that it's going to hopefully start to change that perception before we get into the season. Now, they got to win games, and he's got to not throw picks to Marcus Peters, and he's got to, you know what I mean? He's got to not do dumb stuff like that. But I think this will be a good opportunity for Derek Carr.
Yeah, in terms of big people, that's why I call it biggest storylines. Or best storylines is because of their popularity. Again, they don't follow the popular players that much, but it's going to be interesting to watch. One popular person they're going to follow constantly is John Gruden. And I just want to see if John Gruden is going to be fake or if he's going to be real. I mean, sometimes you got to admit, people say John Gruden, that's how he is all the time. But he does ham it up for the cameras on occasion, as he did last year. And Hugh Jackson, he's the fakest MFer that I've ever seen in my life. So I've known that on Hard Knocks. So I want to see how much more, if John Gruden's going to amp it up and be more John Gruden-esque TV personality. We got to draft Johnny Manziel, or is he going to be the hard-nosed Gruden? Get off the effing field, come over here. Or is he just going to say, you know what, after last year, I'm just going to be me and coach. I want to see which spectrum Gruden will be on. And it might be a different spectrum every episode. So that's the biggest storyline for me to watch, if you will. Who will be the breakout star for you? Somebody that's kind of unknown that we're going to really enjoy watching.
Well, I'm rooting for Ronald Ollie. So speaking of, like I said, I love football documentaries. And if you don't watch Last Chance U or haven't had a chance to watch it yet on Netflix, watch it. Watch all 3 seasons of it. It's brilliant television. It's brilliant football television. And where they follow small community colleges in rural areas, and they look at basically the way they assemble teams, and they provide insight into the players that are going to these small community colleges. These are typically guys that have major amounts of talent, but have had different issues with academics or maybe with, off the field things, some personal issues, things like that they need to overcome. And so this opportunity at these community colleges gives these guys like a jump off point. Well, Ronald Ollie was the star of season 1 of Last Chance U, and he's like the most likable teddy bear of a guy. And he fought his way back. I can't remember the college he went to after Last Chance U. He was at East Mississippi, and then he went to I forget the name of the school, but it was some small, like Fordham maybe, or I don't remember, something like that. He went to some small school, and then here he is. He signs with
How dare you not know your facts, Murf?
I know,
on a
right?
podcast where we just talk out of our butts.
I know,
How
right?
Dare you
I know.
Murf?
Yeah, so I should have covered
You
that.
are the facts man on this show, Murf.
Hey, it'll pop
You are
in.
the stats guy.
I promise at some point it'll pop into my head, and in the middle of one of your rants, I'll just start screaming it. But now he's with the Raiders. So he's very accustomed to the Hard Knocks environment because it's the very similar kind of show format is what Last Chance U is what Hard Knocks is. So, and he's, like I said, he's just this likable guy. He's kind of silly and he's funny. There's on his social media, somebody put up, I think it was Max Crosby, put up a video of him on a roller coaster this offseason. Did you see this? Mm-hmm. Where all the Raiders rookies, I think they were at Magic Mountain, I want to say, and he was getting ready to. They were all getting on the roller coaster, and he's screaming like a freaking 4-year-old. It's hilarious. He's like,
did you watch the episode of Meet the Rookies that just came out earlier today? The first episode of Meet the Rookies?
I did not. I was doing the day job today and have not done that, so I'll look forward to watching that. But
yeah, Ronald Ollie is a character in this one as well.
Awesome, man. I'm rooting for him, man. He's my guy. I think that he's going to be the one to kind of break out of this thing.
All right, breakout star from this one. If I can go with anybody that, you know what, I'm going to go with, I think they're going to follow alongside Hunter Renfrow a lot, just because, you know, he's the Julian Edelman Patriot type of media personality that they would want out of the slot wide receiver in a Gruden system. I don't know. I think he might be a breakout star, you know, win a good spot on this team and get a little bit of fandom. I mean, we could mention a lot of players, but I'm just going to go with Hunter Renfrow for now. And then
Nichols State.
Nicholas State.
Nichols.
You're looking it up. Nichols.
State.
Yeah,
Nichols State.
Ollie.
Ronald Ollie, Nichols State.
Speaking of nickels, remember the Little Rascals cartoon where the little girls go, I wish I had a nickel. And if I had a nickel, I got a nickel. They thought they were rich because they had a nickel in the Little Rascals.
No, but I did watch Tommy Boy yesterday, and I love the line where he goes, "What's your favorite little rascal? Is it Spanky?"
Spanky? I'm Spanky. I look
Farley's
like Spanky growing up.
Genius, man. You need to do a Matt Foley. I'll bet you could crush a Matt Foley impersonation.
My name is Matt Foley, and I live in a van down by the river. No, I actually created a character called Jack Foley.
You did?
I'm the uncle of Matt. I mean, the brother of Matt Foley, who live down by the river, and I live on a boat up the stream.
Nice. I love it. Jack Foley, Matt's brother. I love it.
It should have been Spat. I don't know, but I did create in my mind a character that lived in a boat up the stream. It was hilarious.
That's
hilarious.
Good,
all right. I'll start with my villain. I think anybody could be the villain. I mean, they can make Gruden the villain. They can make AB the villain with the way they edit it or whatever. But I believe the Raiders will have some final edits where they don't want certain stuff getting out. I hope that's the case because if there's any bad stuff, we don't need more negativity. But the villain, I'm gonna say they hone in on either Incognito or Perfect on one or two occasions because they want them to be the villain. The Raiders technically want them to be the villain, maybe not like racially or publicly, but on the field at least and in persona. So maybe the Raiders want some of that villainry by either Perfect or Incognito in a fight to air on Hard Knocks to show the teams that they ain't playing. And then the episode will end with a fight with either Perfect or Incognito, and it'll go, da-da-da. And they'll be like, yeah, you want to win? You want to be a Raider? That's how you get it done. You fight. And then da-da-da. So that's who I think might be the so-called villain, if you will.
I like it. My villain is going to be one of two. And it's either going to be Oakland or it's going to be Las Vegas. I think that because they're either going to glorify the idea that it's the last season in Oakland, and so Vegas will be the bad guy because they're the ones that are going to be taking the Raiders from the Bay, or the bad guy is going to be Oakland, and they're going to glorify the new stadium, and they'll do these really beautiful flyover shots of the construction, and they'll be following around Mark Davis as he tours through the existing construction, right?
Is he ever in Oakland? Is Mark Davis ever in Oakland again?
No,
no. He's never been here.
No,
again
he's going to be at the penthouse of the Luxor. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying though? Like picture that shot. Like that's such a Hard Knocks thing to see with the camera trailing around behind him and Mark Bedane as they tour the existing structure. You know what I mean? And so I think that they're going to glorify one city or the other. I think that it's just going to, and it may not be like intentionally creating a villain, but just by the nature of it, because one is going to be pitted against the other, that you're going to get a good guy and the opposite of a good guy is a bad guy. So I think it's going to be one of those cities.
Yeah, I think they're hardly even going to speak about Oakland. I think they're going to show more Vegas and the entertainment value because that's what they're selling. They're not living in the past this year on Hard Knocks because of the Raiders' legacy. They're building on the future.
There you go. Then there's Oakland as the bad guy. And by just not featuring it, not talking about it, then what is the impression that you're left with? Right? So I agree with you. That's a great point, Mikey.
Oakland is the most hated city in the world, along with the football team and the fan base. That's all I can say. All right, let's get into our training camp mini preview. We're going to do the best camp battles at the position, and you and I are going to hopefully quickly pick a winner and why. Let's start with the quarterbacks. We're not going for starting quarterback. We are going for the backup, if not second string quarterback. Who do you think will win the position battle and why between Mike Glennon, who is labeled technically as the backup right now, and Nathan Peterman, who got a lot of snaps at the last minicamp more than Glennon? What say you on this position battle?
For the love of all things holy, let's all pray that freaking Nathan Peterman doesn't sniff anywhere near Rodney Hudson this season. I don't know what the deal is with Gruden liking Peterman. I mean, I know he likes big, strong arm guys, and Peterman's but you can be the biggest, strongest arm in the world, but when you throw it to the wrong color jersey, you're not going to make it in the NFL. So let's just hope that it's Mike Glennon. And here's the thing I think about this. I don't think this is our final three when it comes to the season, because as we all know, there's a lot of movement late when all the teams cut to 53, and you're going to see a lot of names come up and become available. And there are a handful of college guys still. They're like Brent Stockstill, MTSU represent. Like there are some other quarterbacks that have not signed, that were undrafted and have not signed places. I got a feeling that the quarterback room is going to round out different than these three guys. It wouldn't surprise me if Glennon hangs on, but I can't believe that Peterman is going to be around. And if he's getting any more snaps than others, because they don't want anybody else twisting an ankle or something in a mini camp. Like I just got to think that that's what's going on.
All right, if I can quickly give my crazy theory on this position battle, I think Mike Glennon will lose the job to Nathan Peterman. Why am I saying that? Not because of their skill set, only because Mike Glennon is the bigger and better veteran, and if he's kept into 2020 and he plays good in camp and in the preseason, he will require a few more $1 million in 2020, as which Nathan Peterman will just be happy to have an effing job. And then on top of that, if they keep Glennon and he looks good in the preseason, then in 2020, the Raiders cannot have an excuse to draft another quarterback if they want to for fun. Not against Derek Carr, but in general. Yeah. If they have Nathan Peterman behind Derek Carr this entire season, they could say, oh, well, we're really not sold on Peterman, so we're still going to look after another quarterback in 2020 to fill out the room. So that would be an excuse to draft a quarterback in 2020. So I believe Nathan Peterman gets the second spot by de facto 2020 draft status. Bam! Let's go to the offensive line. I don't think there's really a positional need. We could talk about Trent Brown and Colton Miller till the cows come home. Let's just call the battle with Richie Incognito and Denzel Good and anybody else at that left guard position. Do you think Incognito's there just for toughness, will be cut before training camp, or is he there for good, and will he win the starting position?
I think yes to all of that. I think that he's absolutely there as a guy that's going to set the tone for some of the younger players, teach them what it is to be scrappy, teach them what it is to defend your quarterback. You know what I mean? If anybody gets in Derek Carr's face at all in the preseason or scrimmages or anything else, I promise you Richie Incognito will be the first one grabbing a face full of someone else's, or a handful of someone else's face mask.
Perfect on a blitz. Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
But, so I just, he's going to be that guy. So I don't know, but will he work out? I don't know. I mean, it's not unheard of for those interior linemen to have pretty lengthy careers. So I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely going to be curious. I think the biggest uncertainty to me is where's Brandon Parker fit into it? Do they turn him into a guard? Do they go all Robert Gallery with him and take somebody that was, questionable at tackle and then turn him into a pretty good guard? I don't know. Well, I don't know enough about his skill set, and I don't break down film enough to know whether he's got the movement or the capabilities to do that. But that to me, I think is a question mark. It's probably the biggest question mark of all on the offensive line, because you're talking about a pretty significant positional change.
Yeah, I agree. I think Richie Incognito was a good pickup. Maybe not publicly, maybe not media-wise, for whatever contention or dissension that's there, but I think he will be. And I think he wants to really prove himself in the NFL again. I think he'll have a great year, and he's a better player than Denzel Good and Brandon Parker. Quickly, if you could answer this question, I've gotten it a lot lately, and I haven't responded. Do you think it was a good move to have Colton Miller at left and Trent Brown on the right side? And how long before Trent Brown technically takes over the left tackle position from Colton Miller? Some people have asked me.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't, because if he doesn't take over left tackle, it means that Colton Miller's playing pretty darn good, right? So, I mean, they drafted him to be a left tackle, and that's the position that he's playing. And Trent Brown's versatile enough to play on the right side. And you know, the days of the left tackle being your pass blocker and the right tackle being your run guy, those days are kind of over, man. All you got to do is watch us play the freaking Broncos and look what they do with Von Miller and Chubb.
They line them up everywhere,
all over the damn place, man. So those days are kind of over. So you need really two solid pass protectors, considering that, you know, that's just not only is that the way the defenses are nowadays, but this is a pass-driven league. I mean, Derek Carr is going to attempt a lot of passes this year, and so we got to keep him clean, man. So I don't get caught up on that. I don't get too caught up into. I just want the best guys at the positions, and anybody that's thinking it's some kind of a waste or anything to have Trent Brown at right tackle, then I think you're mistaken, because you're not taking into account the amount of complex defenses and the way that they're going to be getting pressure off of that side. We're going to play the freaking Bears, man. We're going to play the Bears. You remember what Khalil Mack used to do when he was a Raider? Play all over the damn place. Well, guess what he's going to do as a Bear? Play all over the damn place. So if he's got, we want him, if he's going to go to the right side, yes, give us that big, massive man, Trent Brown, over there to block him.
Here's a good thing about that statement. I don't think it'll ever happen, but that's good about Trent Brown. He could play left or right. And let's say we play the Bears and they want to stop Khalil Mack, and then all of a sudden they line up Khalil Mack on the left side, and Colton Miller's been struggling. All of a sudden, Brandon Parker comes in at right guard because he has a little bit of experience there, and then they put Trent Brown for one or two plays at left tackle to handle Khalil Mack. I'm not saying it'll happen, but at least we have that versatility, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go into the running back battle, and I wrote on screen who gets cut, because I believe the three positions are filled in terms of Josh Jacobs, Jalen Richard, and Doug Martin on the team. But if Josh Jacobs doesn't show off, none of these players get cut. But who gets cut from Chris Warren III or DeAndre Washington? Who wins and why?
I think DeAndre, unfortunately, he's the new version of Justin Fargas to me. He runs so hard, and I love his heart, and I love his dedication to the team. But he runs 100 miles an hour into the line of scrimmage and doesn't really come out the other side. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like Justin Fargas reminds me of. And so I think, unfortunately, that it's going to be DeAndre. I'm not totally on with you on Martin. I don't know if he's going to be the guy. And I love Chris Warren Jr. III. He's amazing. But I think DeAndre's, unfortunately, out of these two guys, he's the man out.
But you think Doug Martin at least makes the team, that he won't be like second string or whatever you want to call it?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
You think he makes the team? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think he's going to make the team. No, I think that.
So then DeAndre Washington would make it.
No, because you got Keith Smith you got to account for. You got 4 running backs, right?
They normally keep 5, and like one's a fullback, from my recollection. So again, you would have Josh Jacobs, Jalen Richard, and then if you say Doug Martin is cut, that's still only 2. Then you'd have Washington and Warren, and then a fullback. That's 5.
But
if you think they're only going to keep 4, I think they're going to keep 4 and a fullback.
That's a good point, Mikey. I guess, there is room in there. But so then I guess maybe then I would take Warren off of here and I'd put Doug Martin there. Because then that's really where the cut's going to be. It's either going to be Doug Martin or it's going to be DeAndre Washington, right? That, I think, is more the battle. I think Chris Warren's going to make the team. I don't think he's, of course, everybody's in danger of losing their job, but I think he's got a pretty good lock on it, man. I think he's going to be our new Zach Crockett. I really do, man. I think he's going to be the new guy. Josh Jacobs is going to be our guy between the 20s, and then when you get down there low, you give it to Chris Warren, he punches it in, man. I think that's kind of how they're going to be built.
Correct. The new Napoleon Callum in Gruden's system.
Or Wheatley and Crockett, man. I think that's the way it's going to go.
All right, position battle, cornerbacks. I'm not even going to talk about it much, because let's just call it 3 cornerbacks. I think it's locked up. I think it's Garyon Connolly, Darryl Worley, and Trayvon Mullen. The competition's between Worley and Mullen going in on the left side every once in a while, but I think it's locked up. Any thoughts on the cornerback situation?
I agree with those 3 names, and I think that at times when there's a 4th corner on the field, it's going to be LaMarcus Joyner. I think he's going to be the one to come down and cover, and then you still got those three guys. So even when you're in 4 wide sets, I mean, that's kind of how it's going to work out. I feel like so.
All right, let's go to the slot wide receiver battle. There's no other battle that we know about. Will it be Ryan Grant, whoever you place in the slot of all these people? Who do you think wins the de facto, even though they're going to use different ones at times, the de facto wide receiver, whether it be J.J. Nelson, Ryan Grant, or Hunter Renfrow, or anybody else that's available?
I think it starts J.J. Nelson. I think that you signed that guy to be a starter. Plus, with that speed, man, out of the slot position, you can do a lot there. Speaking of versatility, right? So
he doesn't have any route running skills, though. He just
that's
goes.
The thing.
He's like a Randy Moss. He just goes quick in one direction.
That's the thing. So I think that it's at when Renfrow is going to work himself into that job. So I think my answer is a hybrid. I think that it starts off J.J. Nelson, and you look at the depth chart. That's who he's penciled in there now, but which doesn't mean anything. But I think that he's the guy early on. Then Renfrow eventually wins the job. And and the other thing too, because J.J. Nelson's on a 1-year deal. He's gone kind of like a 1-year prove-it deal for like $1 million. Like, so he's not that expensive. You know what I mean? So and they don't really have like a large commitment to him, where you got at a minimum a 4-year commitment to Hunter Renfrow, right? So I think they drafted him to develop him and to get him involved. So it will just be a matter of how long that takes. And I would assume it's not going to take much longer than half the season before eventually he works his way into that role. I mean, he's going to be our Wes Welker, right? Like, I mean, that's what everybody, wants him to be. And I think, or even like a Doug Baldwin or something. Like, I think that's kind of where we're going with him. So we'll see. So that's what I'm rooting for. So I think ultimately he wins it out.
Yeah. I made a weird, bold prediction that Gucci Harris gets cut, even though he signed a new contract just last year for like almost $2.2 million, the special teams wide receiver. I don't know. I made a bold prediction that he gets cut because I just think it might cost too much money, in another season. But again, why would they sign him? Hey, it's like the New York Giants. We didn't sign him to trade him or cut him. We didn't sign Odell Beckham to trade him or cut him. You're a moron general manager. I think Hunter Renfrow starts day one at the slot over anybody else. Tight end position battle. Who is the number one, even though it's a 2 tight end system, who will be the pass blocking tight end, in your opinion, and the wide receiver catching tight end? Or will there be one in the same as a number one? You can go a lot of different ways with this.
Yeah,
right.
This one's way up in the air. I think out of all the positions, there's a lot of options and a lot of story to be told here when we get into camp. Somebody like Paul Butler, who's like on the very bottom end of the depth chart, like he's even got some skills, man. That guy can run.
He can lift tires. He can
lift tires, right? But he's got some moves to him, man. So Luke Wilson is very serviceable. I think I do too, and I think he's going to be if anybody's a blocking guy. Excuse me. I think he's going to be more of it than anyone. Derek Carrier, I think he's got a great skill set and probably serves more on special teams than he does in terms of actual, normal downs. But the guy that I'm rooting for is Darren Waller, man. I think that he's got the skill set to be a very dynamic pass catcher and playmaker. He made a couple plays last year, man, that were so awesome. When he's fast, I mean, the guy's, what is he, runs like a 4.4 something. I mean, he's way fast. He's very big. He's got great hands by all accounts. Like, he's the guy that I think is poised to break out. And I think this is going to be one of those position battles you're going to see way covered by Hard Knocks, because you got veteran guys like Carrier and Wilson, right? And then you got the younger guys.
Moreau.
Yeah, Foster Moreau, right? So it's going to be very interesting. He's bulked up a lot too. I met Foster Moreau at the Senior Bowl this year. Really nice kid, and he's really bulked up a lot. And his stature, from what I can see, like just watching their videos, much different than when I saw him in real life. Because when I saw him in real life, I'm like, He's like my size. He's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, 6'4", 225. I'm like, this guy's like not that much bigger than I am. But now he's like 250 or something like that. Like he's big. Like he put on a lot of weight, man, in this offseason. So it's going to be interesting to see how he evolves and watching his career unfold. But my guy, the one I'm put my claim on as a fan this year is Darren Waller. I think he's going to ball out. I think he's going to be a great fantasy player. Like I'm excited about watching him.
Yeah, one interesting stat that I presented on my news show a couple episodes back was how many times Jared Cook was targeted and what percentage of the balls that he caught from Derek Carr when he was targeted and thrown to. And it was something like 22 or 23% of the time the ball was thrown to a tight end. Well, that's because we didn't really have a slot wide receiver, in the old veteran that we had on our team that was fighting with, that didn't want to be a Raider, basically, with Gruden or whoever. So Derek Carr had to build upon the chemistry and use Jared Cook as a slot wide receiver, even though technically he was a damn tight end.
Yes.
So where does that production from Jared Cook go? Is it completely lost? No. That's why they brought in basically 4 slot wide receivers, because they're trying to find that de facto slot wide receiver to take the pressure away from the tight end position. So they don't expect Foster Moreau, Lucas Wilson to be as much as Jared Cook was to the Raiders, and they don't have to be. So I am not worried about that. They want the slot wide receivers to take up some of that percentage of the catches. So I don't really care who blocks, who catches. I think they can all get it done. But I technically am rooting for Luke Wilson, because I remember a bunch of plays from Russell Wilson with the Seahawks to Luke Wilson out of the backfield. Because I was watching the playoffs, and that's when it happened. So he had playoff experience. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the starting tight end for the Raiders is on this roster now that'll be the starting tight end at the end of the season. I think a free agent, a veteran, something will happen, and Gruden will pick one of them up during the season somewhere.
Very interesting. I like your take about the slot receiver production, having it shift over to that. I think that's a very key point. I think you're dead on with that assessment. And before we move on from it, I don't want to rob Foster Moreau of 2 inches. He's 6'6", 256. He's a large man. I must have been standing on a step when I shook his hand.
Man.
I felt like I looked him in the eye, but no, he's 2 inches taller than I am. He's a big man.
What movie is this from, Murf? Man, you a large dude.
Oh, is that like Remember the Titans or something?
No, it's DC Cab.
Oh.
1980s DC Cab.
I think I missed. Is that the one with Mr. T?
Yes, where all their cab drivers, and they go on an adventure to find a violin with like $10,000 in it to save the cab company. And there's this guy, he sees a big dude, and he runs into him, and he goes, man. He hadn't even looked at it. He goes, man. Then he looks, you a big dude. I don't know. I love that movie. I watched it the other day. All right, let's move on. All right, let's, again, try to quickly answer them. I know I talk
I'll
about.
go fast. I'll go for rapid fire round.
So we'll both answer them as quick as possible. So answer these questions. Did the team do enough regarding the pass rush situation this offseason?
Yes. Now that whether I think they did, I think that they put some. Here's what I think. I think they're banking on the development of players that are already in house. I think they're banking on the growth of Maurice Hurst. I think they're banking on Arden Key taking the next step. Cleveland Farrell, it just fits into that as a piece of that puzzle. So I think that the Raiders had already done things leading towards this. So yes, the answer to that question, I think so. And the thing that I love about it too is that they're all young. Like, I love the fact that they're all young. There's a lot of room still here for these guys to grow. So, and I think we're going to finally start seeing it come together this year.
Yeah, I don't personally think they did enough. I just think that's a position of need, and you don't want to be too young at that position, especially coming off of last year. And the coaches that are fighting for their jobs, I don't think you want to be too young at that position, because it might not blossom for 3 or 4 years. But we do look good, and we do have upside. But I don't think they did enough. There's veterans that could have came in and just gave us a little bit more. I don't think they did enough. How good can Derek Carr actually be?
I think he can be the MVP of the league. He was on pace for that, at least in the serious conversation on the short list in 2016. He's proved it that he can do it before, and I have all the faith in him in the world that he can do it again. Antonio Brown's going to catch 20 touchdown passes this year. That's, you know what I mean? That's more than Derek Carr threw all last year. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's one guy. You know what I mean? When you look at Antonio Brown's productivity, I mean, there's no way that Derek Carr cannot be more productive than he was last year. And his numbers were already pretty good last year. So now you add in some wins, and next thing you know, you got an MVP candidate. So I think he can be great.
Derek Carr can be as good as the 2016 Derek Carr. Again, because he's already done it once. And you would say by the law of averages, if you've done something once, you can do it again. So I think he can be as good as he was in 2016. I don't know how much better. I don't know how much worse. But he can be that good because he has proven it. But again, all the other pieces have to come together as well.
Since 2014, Antonio Brown has only had one season where he didn't catch over double-digit touchdowns, and that was in 2017. He caught 9, but the other years 13, 10, 12, and 15. So I kind of oversold a little bit saying 20, but still, Derek Carr threw 19 touchdowns last year. So if you know what I mean, like if Antonio Brown by himself is going to get half of those.
15, at least 15.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I'm saying on a normal year, he'll catch 10 to 12 touchdowns on just like a regular year. If he breaks out and has a great year, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a big stretch. And then you got Tyrell Williams added into the mix. Holy cow, man! I'm telling you, Derek Carr is going to put up some fat numbers this year.
Can Tom Cable coach this talented offensive line?
Tom Cable's weird, man. None of us are really that sold on him because of the struggles that the offensive line has had. And then especially even going back to when his time in Seattle, like they struggled. So I don't know, man. What's the question? Can he coach him? Yeah. To what level of success? I don't know. I mean, to me, this has got to be a make it or break it for Tom Cable. I mean, it's got to be. Right? If with the amount of investment that they've put in the offensive line, if they don't perform significantly better than they did last year, I don't mean a little bit better, I mean significantly better than they did last year, then it's a failure on his part.
Yeah, I mean, can he coach the team? Of course he can coach it. He's going to. Can he coach it well like we just spoke about? Of course, we don't know. Long story short, though, Tom Cable, his teams traditionally do not fare well in the last, 8 to 10 years. And then that's why Russell Wilson is a running quarterback, if you will, because he's running for his life and he's making plays happen. Derek Carr is not really a Russell Wilson type. Derek Carr can get it done on occasion, but he's not made that way. So I fear for Tom Cable's offensive lines to be exactly like they were in previous seasons with Derek Carr, who's not a Russell Wilson type quarterback officially. So I don't know what he's going to do, but the offensive line is bulking up, which means they want to be more stand pat instead of running around in zone and all that other stuff, because they are clearly in the 280, 300 range, whatever. So they're definitely bulking up so they can stand pat and hopefully build a circle for Derek Carr, blah, 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 whatever. Will the secondary take another step forward?
All right, you ready for my bold prediction? I know that we're doing bold predictions in this segment. So here you go, Raider Nation. Here's my bold prediction. I think we are on the precipice of the next version of the Legion of Boom, or better yet, the Soul Patrol. I think that, and the Soul Patrol, when you look back, and it was Atkinson and Tatum and Dr. Death, right? And then even past that, and you get into Hayes and Haynes, and you look at the legendary Raiders secondaries. But in most recent history, we had the Legion of Boom, right? You have Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas back there, and then you had Richard Sherman on one side, and it was Brandon Browner, I think, was the first one on the other side. But point being, though, is that you had big guys that could cover, and they could all hit. And when you look at the Raiders, despite that Joyner is a little undersized and so is Carl Joseph, but those guys can bring it. And those guys, for even being a little bit more smaller in stature, they can cover. And then you look at Mullen is big, Conley's big, right? And then you got big Jonathan Abram back there playing safety. I think he's the next Cam Chancellor. I think he's going to be a big ass safety standing back there, ready to light fools up. He can play down close to the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to be the breakout star of our draft. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Abram. I can't wait to watch this guy play. And I think that for the first time in a very, very long time, the Raiders are going to return to their legacy of having great secondaries. Like I said, going back to the 70s and the 80s, when you look at the way that if you watch the Raiders Super Bowl against the Redskins were the highest scoring team in the league that year, and the Raiders shut them down. They scored 9 points in that game and didn't get a first down in the first half, I don't think. Like, when you look at they completely took away everything that team did well. I think there's the potential. Again, it's bold prediction. So, I'm going out on a limb here. I think there's an opportunity that these guys are going to be that freaking good. They're going to take away what teams do best. And you just wait till Jonathan Abram blows up Travis Kelce that first time, that second week, man, week 2. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be so fired up. Mike, I'm drooling. I'm spitting right now. It's going to be so awesome, dude. I think that we're going to be great. I'm so fired up for the secondary. Not only do I think they take another step, I think they're going to take a leap. I think they're going to go next level.
This is one giant leap for the Raiders and another giant leap for the secondary.
I have to wipe my screen off here. I've been spitting on it.
Will the secondary take another step forward? Kind of a weird question. I didn't write them. I'm just rehashing their material. But of course they've already have by picking up LaMarcus Joyner and drafting Trayvon Mullen, and it doesn't matter. They've already taken a step forward. And anytime you release Reggie Nelson, according to Raider Nation, that's a step forward as well. So Reggie Nelson has been released. All right, who will be the Raiders' feature running back? We all know it should be Josh Jacobs. I'm going to say week 1. I'm going to add week 1 to that. Who will be the Raiders' feature running back week 1?
Interesting. I like it. It's Josh Jacobs. But I do think that Chris Warren will play a role. I think I won't rehash all my comments from earlier, but I think it's going to be very much, we're going to have a couple guys here that are handcuffed, and that one of them is going to do a majority of the carries, and then the other guy is going to be your power back.
I think Doug Martin will be the running back on the first play of Monday Night Football in week 1, out of Gruden teaching Jacobs a lesson.
There you go. I dig it.
Even though it's not Jacob, it's his agent. All right. Long story short, what are we into? We are into
segment number 3.
Yeah. Questions, like quick answers.
Okay.
Will Khalil Mack be held without a sack in that London game?
God, I hope so. Yes.
Yes, he'll be held without a sack. The Raiders and Gruden will do everything they can to stop him that week. Guaranteed, because Gruden is pissed at Mack and his agent. He will not let him have a big game. Maybe some other players will have a big game, but it won't be Khalil Mack. Do the Raiders leapfrog the Broncos in terms of schedule or wins in the AFC West?
Absolutely.
100% I agree. Maurice Hurst, will he be selected to the Pro Bowl?
Absolutely.
I say I think he's going to get 10 sacks, 8 to 10 sacks. So
I do too. And from an interior position, heck yeah, that makes the Pro Bowl.
All right. I might be saying it. I might have answered it wrong in the other video. You guys can yell at me later.
You're allowed to change your mind, Mikey. You're allowed to change.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't even remember, what breath I took 2 minutes ago. Was it a left nostril or a right nostril? Like, that's how I breathe. It changes every time. It's weird. Does Josh Jacobs win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, because there probably are some AFC West quarterbacks that might play that are rookies, like Arizona Cardinals, and he may do good, and they love to give the award to quarterbacks. So
you know what? That's a good point. Yeah, Kyler Murray. Yeah, that's a good point.
Does Derek Carr throw for 40 touchdowns or more?
No, but he's not going to miss it by much. I'm thinking he's like 35 touchdowns. I'm thinking, somewhere mid-30s, I would say, is a reasonable number.
Yeah, I'm thinking 35, and I'm hoping for 38.
If he gets 10 from Antonio Brown, he's going to get a couple from Josh Jacobs on little swing passes that they get loose, right? Like, if you think of it in those terms, he's going to get a couple bombs to Metcalf, or not Metcalf, to Tyrell Williams and JJ Nelson.
Out of the backfield.
You know what I mean? He'll get a couple of red zone touches from the tight ends. Like, you start thinking about all the opportunities that are going to be there, because those guys are going to get their numbers. So yeah, I think that 30 plus is very doable.
I'll take that. Does Jonathan Abram lead the Raiders in interceptions?
No, that's not his job. I think the one that's going to lead our team in interceptions is Darryl Worley. I think that Conley is going to be locked down enough to where people are not going to want to throw to him. Very much like, I'm not calling him Nnamdi Asomugha, but the dynamic is the same, is that eventually you become good enough, people stop wanting to target you, and they're going to be picking on Darryl Worley, and I think Darryl Worley is up for the task. I think he's going to lead the team.
Yeah, I don't think Abram leads the Raiders in interceptions. If I can give it to anybody, I'm going to say LaMarcus Joyner. He won it with the Rams.
That's true. That's a good one.
In terms of the league for a couple of seasons back in the day. So he has that opportunity as a third cornerback, if you will. So I'm going to give it to maybe LaMarcus Joyner, the veteran, $10 million a year. Does Cleveland Farrell reach double-digit sacks?
Little baby Cleveland, as my counterpart Aaron the Q-Dog Raider calls him. I don't think so. And I don't think that's due to lack of production. If you equate production entirely to numbers, then you could call it underperforming. But I think that he is going to be versatile enough, and he's going to occupy enough attention to where he's going to suck up blocks. And by sucking up those blocks, guys like Maurice Hurst, guys like Arden Key, those are the guys that start racking up the numbers.
Yeah, I don't think he has double-digit sacks either. Khalil Mack in his first year took until like week 11.
Oh, what do you have,
in
4?
his first year.
Yeah,
he took till week 11 to get his first sacks versus the Chargers, and I went to that game.
Nice.
But hey, is that something to hang your hat on now that he's no longer a Raider? I don't even know.
Hey, he was at the time. We'll embrace the moment.
I think Cleveland Farrell gets between 6 and 8. And then I gave him a nickname. Do you think his nickname should be Cleveland, if I'm saying it right, or Cleveland, Fear All Farrell?
Fear All Farrell? We are doing a nickname contest on Raiders Fan Radio. You can win one of these T-shirts, these Get Made T-shirts. We're going to give one away. But you're not eligible, Mikey. But if anybody wants to steal that and submit it,
I won already. I got a shirt because you knew I was going to call him Fearall, and I won.
There you go. I do like Fearall, but I also like Little Baby Cleveland or Cleland. So we'll go with Little Baby Cleland Fearall. I like that.
Clept palate Cleland. Oh my God, that's wrong, Mikey Raider. It's wrong. Clept palate Cleland.
Mikey.
Oh my God, we're messed up. Does Antonio Brown reach 1,500 yards receiving?
Antonio Brown had 1,499 in 2013. He had 1,600 in 2014, 1,800 in 2015, 1,500 in 2017. Last year, just shy at 1,300. I think. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think he's going to, like Derek Carr, I think he's going to miss it, but he's not going to miss it by much. I got a feeling like he's going to be 1,400 yards.
In the words of Prince, we gonna party like it's 1499. I don't think he gets 1,500 yards. He might have close to 12 to 1,300 at most.
Yeah.
Sorry, clicked on the wrong button. Does Vontaze Burfict return to Pro Bowl form as he did with Gunther for a couple of seasons back in the day with the Bengals?
If the assumption is that he's on the field with any regularity, yes. If you're not on the field, if you've been, suspended for whatever reason, you're not going to make the Pro Bowl. So assuming he's behaves himself and he's on the field for all 16 games, sure, absolutely.
Yep, I believe so too. They talked a lot about him in camp. He took all the first team, whatever, middle linebacker, quarterback of the defense reps, whatever you want to call it. And Brandon Marshall hasn't even stepped on the field yet from the Broncos. And I don't know what's going on there. So Vontaze Burfict returns to Pro Bowl form, but that would assume that he makes the Pro Bowl. But I don't know. Are the Raiders going to be in playoff contention in December?
I'm going to give you a really stupid answer. I hate it when I ask people questions on our show.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Yes, it is. And I'm stupid. I hate it when I ask people questions. It's like a this or that question where it's like, you like the Beatles or the Stones? You like Elvis or Frank Sinatra? Like, if you got to pick someone, if I'm giving you thing and I'm saying pick one of these, and then you give me one of those answers and it's like, well, I like them both. Well, you can't. For the purposes of the question, you got to answer one. You got to pick one. And it's hard because it means you got to leave someone out. All right. I hate it when people do that. So I'm going to do it. The answer to the question is that, are they going to be in playoff contention in September and December? I said after the end of last year, from now on, after being a Raiders fan for 46 friggin' years, I've finally gotten to the point where the Raiders have relieved me of the burden of expectation. I said at the conclusion of last year, from now on, I am not going into a season expecting them to make the playoffs, because all I do is get let down and get hurt and get pissed off every single year. So from now on, I'm not going to expect anything other than freaking 1-15. Like, if they do any better than that, then it's a win. And I said that, and I'm sticking to it, except the fact that we had a badass offseason, and I think that we can win 10 games. So the answer to your question is both. Do I think they're going to be in playoff contention in December? No, because I swore the Raiders off, and I said I was never going to have faith in them again going into the beginning of a season. But man, they did some awful good stuff this offseason, and they've got the talent necessary to be in a playoff spot or contending for a playoff spot in December. So there's a double answer to your question, and now I hate myself for saying it.
I love it. A couple years back on a couple other shows that I love, I did a prediction where they asked you, do the Raiders win every week? That we're going to do in a few minutes. But I made the Raiders 16-0 on that show, and we ended up with 4 wins. So they called me an expert too, on that show. They were like, we're so proud to have you, Mikey Raider, as an expert for the Raiders on our show. And I said, 16-0, we won every game, and we won 4. I don't think I'm being asked back because it's at the same time this year as it was last year. And I don't think they're asking me back. No, we will not be in playoff contention in December.
We're expert fans, which means we think with our heart and not with our head. That's ultimately where it comes down.
Yeah, I don't think with that road stretch, God, we got to win a few of more of those games than we lose during that road stretch to even be considered in playoff contention in December. Because December is the final 4 games, basically. So you figure teams got to be 10-6, 11-5 to go to the playoffs. So if there's a final 4 games left, we would have had to already at least win 7 or 8 games, let's say 7 at that position to be in playoff contention. So will we have won 7 games by December with 4 left? I don't know.
Yeah, man, because the Chiefs are no joke, man. We may hate them with all of our what we're capable of, but man, they're going to be good. So they're going to be right there for the division. So that means if they do rattle off 12 or 13 wins, well, then now we're looking at a wild card. Just by default because of how good they're going to be. So we'll get the Raiders record in a minute, right?
Yeah, I had the Raiders going 8-8. And it might change. We're going to go through it right now.
Okay.
So for the entire season, who will be the MVP?
Derek Carr.
I 100% agree. Who will be the breakout star in terms of play on the field at the end of the season?
Maurice Hurst.
I'm going to go with Tyrell Williams. I think he's going to build upon Antonio Brown being such a great player, and he's going to be a great second wide receiver. Who will be the most underrated player? I don't know how they answer that. Who will be the underrated player still, I guess, next season?
Yeah, Darryl Worley. No one's talking about him. And you watch, this dude's going to ball out this year.
I think the underrated player going into this year, I don't know how that question is answered, if it's at the end of the year or going into training camp, forgive me. But I'm saying going into this year, I think it's Doug Martin. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Doug Martin, dude. Like, I had faith in him last year, and he did okay. And I still got faith in him this year, in the second year in the scheme. I call him underrated. Who will be the comeback player of the year this year?
This one's tough because you come back is the assumption that they've been there already before. So I don't know.
Or they've been injured and they're coming back from an injury.
Yeah, so I guess Colton Miller's the answer there. That he was playing pretty well until he got hurt. So assuming that he progresses and just in talent and maturity and coaching and all that stuff, and he's healthy, then yeah, I think he's got to be the guy.
You know what? I could say it'll be Antonio Brown for his attitude, that he'll defy everybody wrong and there'll be no problems between him and Carr and Gruden. But I'm going to say, just for pure speculation, it's Richie Incognito. He's basically coming back off of suspensions.
Sure.
If he plays, if he doesn't have a suspension, he might go. He was in Pro Bowl form the last 2 or 3 years he was with the Bills, so he might technically be the comeback player of the year if he's on the field. Does he get a suspension real quick? What do you think?
I don't know. Yes. Just because the NFL likes to suspend people, so I'm going to go with yes.
What is your one key to success for the Raiders this season?
Well, building off my bold prediction of the secondary, the NFL is such a passing league, and look, we got to go through the Chiefs, man. We have to beat the Chiefs, and even if they don't have Tyreek Hill, there is just one too many weapons typically that they have that we have to cover. And so someone, is going to get open. And so I think that's the key is our secondary, man. Do we go in there? Can we rough up Travis Kelce? Can we disrupt, Mahomes in his passing rhythms? You know what I mean? I think that's going to be a big deal because, pass rush and secondary complement one another, right? You cover long enough, eventually the pass rush will get there. And, we've never seen what it looks like when Mahomes gets got at. I'm not saying that right, but you know what I mean? Like when he gets got,
Mahomes.
Well,
you won't get got.
You know what it's like when, like, even looking at guys like Peyton and like with Brady, right? They don't like to get touched. You start roughing them up a little bit, even just knocking them down, it screws them up because they're so used to not getting touched. And Mahomes is not like some running quarterback or nothing, but he's certainly elusive, right? He's a big body guy. He's got a presence back there and he's got some wiggle to him. So I think that
key to success is Mahomes getting touched.
No, yeah, and you do that. Yeah, and you do that by covering. So I think it's going to be entirely up to our secondary to cover because we got to cover the guys out of the backfield that are going to catch passes. We got to cover Kelce. We got to cover their wide receivers. Like they just have a lot of dang weapons.
If your key to success is actually Mahomes getting touched, that's the defensive end or the defensive line as well.
Yeah, but I think it all starts with the secondary. I think it all starts there. They say now, and it's some people, say, oh, it's the chicken or the egg, right? Like if the pass rush gets there quick, then the secondary doesn't have to cover that long, and then they look better. Some people say the secondary maintains their coverage, and then the pass rush makes its way there. I don't know. I just think that with as good as I think the secondary is going to be, that's where the pass rush is going to then come from. I think that will then lead to the other.
Speaking of the answer of what came first, the chicken or the egg, I know the answer.
What is it?
It's the farmer. All right. The next key to success for the Raiders is Derek Carr. It's his chemistry. It's how well he feels with the players around him. It's all up to Derek Carr. He is 100% the key to success for this Raider. He is the engine that drives the train, and this team will go as far as he does. And the defense builds upon the offense. And the offense builds upon the defense. So it all goes hand in hand. But Derek Carr is the key to success. Who's the Raiders Rookie of the Year?
It's got to be Josh Jacobs. I think just because he plays an offensive position, my guy that as I said, is going to be the standout of the draft, I think is going to be Jonathan Abram, but he's not going to be putting up a bunch of stats and stuff. He's just going to have a major impact. I think, especially on the physicality of the defense and that secondary I've been bragging on this whole show. But I think in terms of numbers, I mean, if Josh Jacobs has 1,000 all-purpose yards, then, how do you not call him Rookie of the Year? So I think he's going to be the candidate.
Yeah, he's a de facto, if you will, and they're going to use him a lot, catching, receiving. That's why they're holding out, because they know that they're going to use him a lot, so they're trying to get their money and guaranteed in case he gets injured, because he might touch the ball 30 times a game, maybe, if they use him like that. I don't know. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's going to be Josh Jacobs. Undrafted free agent who makes the final 53 roster.
I'm rooting for Ronald Ollie, man. He's my guy. I'm riding with him. I hope that he makes it. It's such a good story. And there's all the draft guys and even drafted or unsigned guys. There's always a good story because these are young men realizing their dreams. So there's always good stories, but I think Ollie's is even a little bit more unique. And so I'm rooting for him, man. He's a likable guy. He's got the physical traits to be a heck of a good football player. So I'm certainly rooting for him.
Yeah, it could be Alec Ingold, the fullback that makes the team in replacement of Keith Smith, who cost around $2-3 million, whatever it is. Might be a little bit too pricey when you can get just a younger fullback to do more. Could be Lester Cotton Sr., the offensive lineman, to take over for Incognito or Denzel Good or whoever from Alabama in the future. But you know what? I'm going to root for Ronald Ollie. But if Ronald Ollie makes the team, that means Eddie Vanderdosh doesn't. And that means Ronald Ollie probably takes that position that was vacated by Eddie Vanderdosh. So that's I'm gonna say, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say Alec Ingold makes the team or Lester Cotton Sr. I can't come up with an answer. I don't care. Who will be your Raider surprise cut?
Well,
a surprise is a big player.
You led me right into it. I think Vanderdosh is gone.
That's not a big player though. It's not a surprise, is it?
I don't know. The guy drafted him in the second round?
You're right.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they drafted him with anticipating cutting him a couple of years later. What is he, 3 years? This is third year? Fourth?
He played 1 year.
And he played pretty well early on.
Got injured at the end of that season. And that was last year. So he's going into his third year.
Yeah. So I think he's gone.
Yeah. I just don't call it a surprise because I think a lot of Raider Nation probably agrees with us on that. Like I said, for the surprise cut,
Dwayne Harris?
I'm going to go with Gucci Harris, the special team standout. I mean, he got a contract just 8-9 months ago. He ain't going to get cut. But I'm going with it. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know if there's really maybe the answer to this question is just in that there's not anybody that's going to get cut or that's at risk of it. It seems pretty obvious, no? That I don't when you look at the free agents that we brought, like none of those guys are at risk. Like Williams,
Gruden's draft picks, some of them might be cut. Like Marshall Aitman,
yeah. But is that a surprise when you bring in Tyrell Williams?
People like them,
but when you bring in Tyrell Williams and Antonio Brown, and then you draft Hunter Renfrow, like. Man, and sign JJ Nelson. Like, I mean, like, they're not going to carry 8 freaking wide receivers. So, I mean, you know what I mean?
Doug Martin, that should have been your surprise cut. You just said Doug Martin a little while ago.
But that's not a surprise to me. The guy's.
Yeah, to you, that's a huge surprise to me. They just gave him a new contract.
All right, well,
the minute Crowell got injured, they were like, Doug Martin. They needed him.
We need to change that. It said, surprise to Mikey cut that Murf thinks. The answer to that question, yes, is Doug Martin. I don't think Doug Martin's going to be around. He's a little bit too old, man. You're not duplication of effort, man. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in not having duplication of effort. And you got guys on this team that can do exactly what he does, if not better and younger and cheaper. So, see ya.
Yeah, that's a surprise. I think to many. I think Doug Martin was signed because he won't get cut because he's that good of a player for Gruden. All right.
Gruden does love him some Dougie Fresh, man. There's no doubt. So it wouldn't be a total shocker, but.
What song from Dougie Fresh did he make that I remember? Dougie Fresh, you're on. 5 seconds?
Yeah, 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Dougie Fresh,
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh.
Chaka Kong.
I said I wasn't going to rap on this show, so I'm not going to do it, but yeah, it's 6 minutes.
6 minutes? And then he goes, Michelle, my bell, something, tutanero. Oh my God, I'm so old. I remember this stuff, Murf.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to save it. I had one pop into my head the other day, man, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that song, and it just like completely hit me out of nowhere.
2 Live Crew? Pop that coochie.
No.
Pop, coochie, baby, pop.
No, it was the one that goes, B stands for Broncos, Benz, BMW base, Bengals, and a pair of balls. Yeah.
We'll see you coming to Al. We'll knock your stars.
We're not trying to make a fuss. We're just trying to make it known that people of the world that are called B-girls like balls in a Cadillac Brougham. Yeah.
Oh my God, I used to bump that.
How about that, man? Yeah, that popped into my. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, just freaking, yeah, whatever.
Murf, we have the funnest show on the airwaves.
Yeah.
We're not too cool for school. We're not all about facts. We're like all over the place with stats, with facts, and we're cool. And then we're fun AF. We are the funnest show, and I'm having a great day. Thank you, brother.
Amen, brother. Absolutely. Yeah, man. That's what it's all this stuff. This should be fun. We can't all sit around and take ourselves too seriously, man. It's fandom, and fandom is fun. Football is fun.
Yeah, but last year was a negative time, not only for me personally, but, for the Raiders early on. And, I'm not saying our show suffered because we had a show, but it feels a little bit different this year in season 2, in our first inaugural episode.
Woo-hoo! It's because you relieved yourselves of the expectation, Mikey. You don't have the burden of expecting them to be great. You just have the burden of being a fan, and fandom is fun.
Yeah, I took a poop, and I got my channel back, basically. That's what happened. I took a poop.
That's true.
And I released all the Gruden.
You had a lot of challenges last year off the field. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on.
Brother.
So, but you pulled through. You persevered, man. You hung in there. You kicked ass. You stuck to your guns. You continued to put out quality product, Mikey. You did the right thing. You handled yourself in a very professional way, if I could use that term. You know what I mean? You did good with all that extra baggage, man, that was coming at you, and you had it from multiple angles, from multiple different sources, legally and otherwise, and you conducted yourself.
Family.
You know what, man? And you got vulnerable a couple times, and it's okay, man, because we're freaking humans, man. You care. You care. You have emotion because you care, because you love this stuff, and you did well. So I applaud you.
Thank you, brother. So if negativity was a person, then I would now become Drago from Rocky. And I would say to that negativity, if he dies, he dies. This is the game review segment. We are going to quickly review wins and losses for the preseason, because that's coming up. And we're going to do an early season prediction of wins and losses. We did it last year. I should have brought out the stats and seen how you were right or wrong, but we can do that next year.
I was wrong. I can tell you that right now. I was wrong.
All right. Preseason game 1 versus the Lambs on August 10th. Do the Raiders win in their first preseason game?
Preseason game, and I do remember us talking about this last year. Preseason, you can't predict it. You can literally flip a coin because it's a talent evaluation period. They're not really playing to win. I mean, they say they are, but we know they're not. So I'm going to say we lose all 4 of these games. I'll save you for even asking me.
You saved me 5 minutes, Murf.
There you go. We're going to lose all of them. Yeah.
All right. I think we win versus the Rams. Okay, so you say we lose. So, okay, I'm writing down 0 wins in the preseason.
Yeah. Because we always lose, because we're going to lose to the Rams because they're the friggin' Rams. We're going to lose to Green Bay because it's in Canada. It's a funky thing. We always lose at Seattle. So we're in the preseason. Seattle always kicks our ass in the preseason. And then the last one is that, maybe do we come out with a win against the Cardinals? I don't know, but I don't think so. Of course, and that Seattle game is in Oakland, I think. But no, is it on the road?
Home and away, it's away. It's away.
Yeah, it's away. So we always lose up there. So that's good. So yeah. So
we only have 1 home game in the preseason.
That's what I'm saying, man. So maybe against the Cardinals. So I really do.
Canada.
I mean, I really am not being facetious. I just think we lose them all. I don't have any expectation of anything in terms of scoreboard success in the preseason.
Look, we are going to beat the Rams in week 1 at home, and we are 100% going to beat the Cardinals. And we are 100% going to beat the Sea Chickens. The Raiders are going to be 3-1 in the pro season. The pro season, Murf. The pros, because they're pros.
Yeah.
We're going to be 3-1 going into Monday Night Football. All right, let's go week by week. We'll quickly win. Yes, no, whatever. Monday Night Football versus the Broncos. You know what? We come out fired up. We had a 3-1 preseason. We win versus the Broncos week 1. What about you?
I agree.
Boom.
Are you writing these down, or you want me to write them down?
Yes, I'm got it.
Okay, you got it.
I'm gonna.
All right.
You know what? Let's make this a bet. Whoever is closest to the wins and losses, donates to the other person's charity of $20.
Perfect deal.
All right, so let me write that down.
That's a
$20 to each other's charity.
That's a bet.
I'd probably be the charity nowadays. I'm sorry. But, that's a good bet. All right, Kansas City at home versus the Raiders. Oh, my God, I think we lose.
I think we win this one, and I think that this is, dare I say it, the defining game of the season. Because if we win this game, If we prove that we can beat Kansas City at home, last time KC's going to roll into Oakland, dude, that's going to, I mean, it'll be all up from, or hopefully it'll continue the momentum and go from there because they're going to be one of the best teams in football. So if you can handle them week 2, dude, I think we got a lot to look forward to, man. And I don't want to oversell it, but I think that this is a big game. I think the Raiders definitely, of course, the Broncos are always a big game, but I mean, they're all big, but I mean, this is, in terms of momentum and just the dynamic of the season and how it's going to unfold, dude, I think this is a big deal. Think about the statement. Think about what the talk will be if we knock off Kansas City week 2 and we're 2-0 and they're 1-1, or if we're
going into that 8-game away stretch right then and there.
And that's the other reason why we need it, because we got a big stretch on the road. So I think it's very important. Think about if you come out of the gate with 2 division wins, then losing to the Vikings is not the end of the world. Losing to the Bears in London is not the end of the world, or Green Bay, or the Lions, or any of these other games that are upcoming. If you lock up those 2 division wins early, and especially against your freaking arch rivals, and especially the team that's going to be a Super Bowl favorite, dude, that's a big ass game, man. I think it's huge, that week 2 game. So give me a win there.
All right. The Raiders start their home stretch in Minnesota. I unfortunately do not think they win that game. Minnesota, just veteran leadership. I think they're going to get it done. What about you, Murf?
Yeah, I think they're too good, and I think that's a hangover game. You know, the Raiders are gonna sell out to beat the Chiefs, and unfortunately, it's going to linger with them a little bit, and we'll lose on the road in Minnesota. That's a tough place to play, man. Plus, they're really good.
Now we got the Colts, and I mean, I don't ever want to say this guy is not good, but they're pretty good with Andrew Luck. I'm just going to give this kid credit. Coming back off of arm surgery, and he just plays great. I think it's a close game, but I think the Colts beat us with Andrew Luck. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Unfortunately, they were one of the jump out teams of the league last year, and yeah, they're pretty freaking good, man. And again, much like Minnesota, playing on the turf with that crowd, that's a tough game. I think I'm gonna go to that one. I'm gonna try to squeeze that one in. But yeah, that's a tough one. So yeah, I'll take the L there too.
Okay, you're taking the L. All right, yeah. Chicago in London. Khalil Mack returned. Gruden is fired up. We've lost a few in a row. He's fired up. We will not lose this London game. Their quarterback, we got his number, Mitchell Trubisky. I don't care what happens. This will be a victory for the Raiders. We beat the Chicago Flukes.
Well, this is going to be another team that all the analysts will tell you is a Super Bowl favorite. Unfortunately, I don't agree. We don't do well overseas. We don't do well in these London games. We don't do well on the East Coast, let alone across the country or across the ocean.
But Gruden changed up the entire practice procedure this year. He's going to 9 a.m. every practice and training camp.
Yeah,
and that tells you they're getting ready for that Chicago and that East Coast trip.
I agree, and they're leaving earlier this time. They're not going to go the day or two before. They're going to be over there for the week.
Right after the Indy game.
Right
after.
I get it, man, and I hope you're right, and I hope that I'm way wrong. But, again, I said at the beginning of the show, I've relieved myself of that expectation, and they've never done well there. And in fact, we go over there and get our ass kicked usually. You know what I mean? So I got a feeling it's not going to go well, man. And so at that point we're 2-3 going into the bye week. I think that's about a very realistic expectation for this season.
Do the Raiders stay on that side of the pond in the bye week or go back home for a few days? Like, what do you think in that bye week?
I think you got to get out of town.
You get at the traveling schedule. Maybe go to a hotel in Green Bay and get accustomed. I don't know.
Nah, I mean, that's the bye week, so they'll come home, man. I think they'll come home. At least
got 5 or 6 days somehow.
Yeah, and Green Bay, that's Central Time Zone, so that's not going across the country, so I think they come home.
All right, so now versus Green Bay, do we win or lose? I'll just throw it out there. I believe, dude, like Aaron Rodgers is a beast. I don't know what happens, and I will never count him out. I think we lose versus Green Bay. I
do too. It's late October in Lambeau with Aaron Rodgers, like, come on, man. That's pretty tall order there. And I know they've lost a couple of pieces, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. It's still Devontae Adams. I don't see any this is not looking good for us.
And this game that I'm really looking forward to, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the Raiders have, lost and they keep going up and down. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Antonio Brown is going to want to poise up DeAndre Hopkins, one of the other best wide receivers in the NFL. And I just think this is a game that the Raiders team is going to win. I think we beat Houston in a close game, but we win. We win versus Houston.
I think so too, and I think this is the beginning of the stretch where we turn it around. So we've lost, according to my picks, we lost 4 in a row.
3 in a row, yeah, 4 in a row.
4 in a row, and so here we go. Now I think that we're going to get them back, and I agree. I think it starts with the Texans. I think that we win that game. It's on the road, and now all of a sudden that builds some confidence back. You're now 3-4, and we're at home against the Lions. I think that we're going to win that one too, and at that point, it's going to get us back to even, and we'll be 4-4 on the season with a Thursday night.
Did you say we win against Houston?
Yeah, so we beat Houston, and then we beat the Lions in Oakland, and then have the Chargers come into town, and we're sitting at 4-4, and that's probably about where they're going to be sitting too, knowing that the Chargers are going to go all Chargers this year, and you know what I mean, and play 500 football. So I think that's.
All right, so so you got us winning at Houston. Sorry,
yeah.
my brain fluctuated.
It's okay. I got us winning Houston, winning against the Lions, so we're 4-4 at this point.
Okay, cool. So I got us beating the Lions as well at home. I think some home remedy will do us good. We're coming off a big victory. Houston is in that time zone, so it's kind of like 2 weeks at home, and I think it'll be good for the Raiders. So I believe we get a victory versus Detroit as well. Then we got Thursday night football versus the Chargers at home. And, I mean, they're a good team every damn year. I don't even want to give them credit. I'm sorry, guys, but can we beat them? I think we're on a solid stretch right now. I think we win this game versus the Chargers somehow very closely.
Well, I hope you're right. I don't think so. I think that we lose this one. This is our first divisional ding. I don't think we're going to go undefeated in the division, and I think that prime time on a short week. I got a feeling that we're gonna catch an L on this one.
All right, now Paul Gunther's former team comes into town, and early on I had the Raiders losing against the Bengals in my other prediction. I don't know why I did that. The more I thought about it, we're at home for 3 straight weeks, basically 4 in my recollection, and I think Paul Gunther will know the quarterback's number if it is Andy Dalton or anybody else. We do struggle with running backs and stuff like that, but I don't think they could beat us single-handedly. I think Raiders defense proved something, like with Cleveland Farrell against Paul Gunther's former team. Raiders get a victory versus the Bengals in my new, prediction.
Yeah, I agree. For all the exact same reasons that you just said, I think that we catch a win there. In fact, this could be our blowout. This could be one of those ones that we win the game by 25 or something,
Woo. Then we go on the road to New York to face the J.E. Stupids. You get it, instead of adding the T, I just J.E. Stupids.
Yeah, Stupids.
Do we get a victory against the Jets? Well, you know what? My God, we're on a roll in my new prediction. I say yes, we win again, Murf.
Yeah, I don't buy the hype of the Jets this year, but I also don't buy the Raiders have gotten over the hump of playing on the East Coast. Until they prove us wrong with any kind of consistency, I think this is an L, unfortunately. We have so many of our good friends that are going to this game too. All of our East Coast guys and gals that are up there, from Syracuse folks down to the New Jersey folks, all of them are going to this game. And, I think that's the Raiders don't do well. They just don't do well on the East Coast, man. So I'm going to take the loss there.
Nick Mangold is a Raider killer, and we're going to talk about that and why on the next Raider News Show. Now we're in Week 13, Unlucky 13, and in Unlucky 13, it is now coming down to the playoff wire, as we spoke about. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, do we beat them?
No.
I predicted a loss earlier. I don't think we win again, so I'm saying no. And what about you, Murf?
Yeah, no, same. There's no way we're going to run the table, and if I picked them to win at home, we're not going to win in Kansas City in December when it's cold as heck.
Well, now we move on to your neck of the woods, Tennessee Titans, but it's actually not in your neck of the woods. It's in our
Oakland,
neck of the
yeah.
woods. with your team that's in your neck. Because I don't know what I was saying there, Murph.
The team that I live close to. Well, the Raiders beat them 3 years in a row in Nashville, and I don't think that that's going to stop. Aside from, by this time, Mariota should be good and hurt. That's usually how it goes for them. And I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying that's he typically doesn't play out full seasons. He hasn't proven that he can be durable yet. Derrick Henry is scary. He can run the heck out of the football, but I think we're going to have the defense to be able to accommodate him. So give me the win here. We like I said, we beat them 3 times in a row. I think this will just be number 4.
I agree. I think we're going to win versus Tennessee, but I think it's going to be a closer game and better game than people think. I really do. I think it's going to be come down to who has the ball last. It'll be like a game of blitz.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now we got the Jaguars at home. Will the Jaguars bounce back, be in playoff contention with Jalen Ramsey, the future Raider in 2020? Do we get a victory?
I was just going to say, you mean when we get Jalen Ramsey at the trade deadline and he's now a Raider and this is now going to be a game that's flexed into Sunday night because it's Jalen Ramsey's return or not return, but his chance to play his former team. Yeah, give me the win here. I don't think the Jaguars are much of anything. Just don't trust them. So what do we got? Nick Foles now instead of Blake Bortles. I don't know. I mean, Nick Foles didn't do good the last time he left Philadelphia. So until he proves us wrong, I'm going to assume it's going to be more of the same. So give me the Raiders W here.
All right. So you get a W versus the Jaguars. I unfortunately think this will be a big game for the Jaguars. They'll probably be in playoff contention, winning a lot of games. Nick Foles is a great quarterback. And I fear the Raiders anytime they play a quarterback with the first name of Nick. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Murph. I don't know if you remember that. Every player that's played against the Raiders with a quarterback of the name Nick has crushed us. Look into the 49ers last season.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. So I think the Raiders lose versus the Jaguars. Then on the road, let's call it at home.
Yeah, right. Oakland South. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention the last game versus the Jaguars is the last game in Oakland. I forgot to mention that, and I think we lose. And that's what also pisses me off about the last game being versus Jacksonville at home in Oakland, because it should have been the Broncos, the Chiefs, or if worse comes to worse, the Chargers. Ridiculous. And I think we might lose in our final game at home in Oakland. I'm sorry if you want to speak on that.
I'm with you. It would have been nice to have it be a divisional game, but I'd rather it be the Jaguars than the freaking Patriots. You know what I mean? I'd rather it be somebody like that we got a good chance of beating than somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we play the damn Chargers and the Broncos the next 2 weeks. Why didn't they just slide one of those damn games over and put the Jaguars in 16 or 17 for playoff contentions or whatever, to give the Raiders a divisional opponent to end out their season? Oh, we gave them the Broncos last year. Well, then give us the Chargers this year. Morons. It's because of TV ratings, Murph. It's because of TV ratings.
All comes down to money.
All comes down to damn money. And Jacksonville doesn't have a lot of it. So that's why they want the Jacksonville Jaguars on the final game in Oakland to get a lot of publicity.
Probably.
Probably. All right, whatever. Let's move on to the Chargers at the Raiders' home, let's call it. And it's subject to change, whatever that means. Do the Raiders win? I don't think we win both games versus the Chargers, so I think we lose this one.
Yeah, I think we lose there too.
Now, the final game in general for the Oakland Raiders possibly versus the Broncos in Denver territory. I don't think they'll be in playoff contention. I see the Raiders tearing up the table with the Broncos. I see us winning the first game to start the season versus the Broncos, and I see us finishing the season beating the Broncos, so I say the Raiders win.
I agree. And then we've balled out in Mile High plenty of times, so history is on our side as well, to not only win, but to win big. And I think that, the last game ever for the Oakland Raiders, it's not at home, but it's our last game as the Oakland Raiders. I think that we win this game too. Plus it's the Broncos, and we do good beating them late in the year.
Yep. So in summary, you have the Raiders going 8-8.
I think that's about right.
That's what I was before. Now I get a new prediction. Let's count it. 1, 2. I got the Raiders going 9-7.
Flirting with the playoffs.
Flirting. We are flirting with the playoffs. Wow, I got them going 9-7 now. So I upped it by 1 game. Woohoo! 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 Bam! All right.
Yeah.
Everybody check it out. I'm not wearing it today, but I am in that picture. It is the Get Made shirt. It's like a mafia-style T-shirt from Murf and his fan cave from their podcast. And if you want to be a person that gets made, you can buy the shirt and call his hotline at least 3 times, and then you're made officially in all directions. And proceeds go to I believe it is the Bolitnikoff Foundation. You could pick up those amazing Get Made T-shirts on murfsfancave.com. Speak about it quickly, Murf. Let them know what that shirt is about.
Our goal is to raise $2,000 for the Bolitnikoff Foundation. We're going to present them with a check in November at their Crab Fest annual fundraiser. The money will go to fund Tracy's Place of Hope, which is a place that's provided for young ladies that to get themselves out of domestic abuse situations, substance abuse situations, basically gives them a safe place. And also they offer a lot of rehabilitative services. So it helps them reacclimate into sober and safe life and get themselves back out there to get jobs and long-term housing and things like that. It's a wonderful foundation. We're very thankful to be part of it, and we are so thankful to Raider Nation and the support of not only of buying these shirts, but going to our affiliate links to generate money. I'm putting all the money into a hopper, and we're giving all of it to Bolitnikoff. Right now, we are on pace for that $2,000. We're about $600 right now. And we're giving it all away. If we go over $2,000, then we're going to just give it all. We're going to keep on going. We're not going to stop just because we get it there. So please go to RaidersFanRadio.com/t-shirts, buy this shirt, and 100% of the proceeds is going to them. And so thank you to all of you that have bought one already. Thank you to those of you that will buy one in the future. And please do it. Again, there's nothing wrong with making money on podcasts. I don't begrudge anybody that does it. But in our case, we're in a position financially where we can take that money and give it away. So we're supporting one of the best Raiders foundations and charities there is, and you will make a difference in these young ladies' lives. So please go out there and get the RFR t-shirt.
And if you would also like to wear our faces on your beautiful body,
look at Frankie.
We have 2 official owners of the Mondays with Mikey and Murf shirt, and Frankie Musquada sent us a picture of him wearing our show's shirt, and it looks really good on him. So I just wanted to say, if you guys would like to support this channel and all of our shows or episodes, if you will, no problem. And I promise you, I'm going to give you some extra money, Murf, for the foundation as well. Somehow I will get it done. You know, you're getting a little bit of money from me in support. So pick up the Mondays with Mikey and Murf shirt. Some of that money will go as well to the charity that we just mentioned. Thank you, Frankie, for wearing the shirt.
Yeah, I met Frankie at the draft this year, man. Super cool guy. I got to meet him and his lady, and they were very, very cool. And and you know, Mikey, this right here, I'll just say this real fast. Just this platform to be able to say what I just said, that's all the payment I need from you, brother. I mean, I appreciate your support in this stuff, but just helping me get the word out to folks, because, you know, your reach is a lot bigger than ours is on Raiders Fan Radio, especially in terms of YouTube here, and with your subscriber count. And so thank you to you for giving us that platform. And the Raider Nation, I would just say to you, just act on it. I mean, they're cool shirts, man. You get a cool shirt and you're going to support a fantastic charity. You know what I mean? Or
channel or anything that you guys do.
Absolutely. So thank you very much.
Yeah, the shirts, I get like $9 or $10 from it. So I'm trying to, we've only sold 2. So the foundation so far is getting, $5 or $10. Wait. Yeah, $10 out of 2 shirts. So
okay. Deal.
We're doing good, Murf.
All right.
And then I just wanted you to explain this beautiful picture.
Oh, thanks, man. Those are my boys. So this was at the draft this year. We went out there for day 2. I was there all 3 days, but on day 2, I took my sons, Vinny and Tristan there, and took them out to go to the draft experience. And we had an absolute blast, man. It was so cool. You get your face made up, like they take like a digital image of you and make like a Hall of Fame bust of you.
Dude, we're literally having an earthquake, bro. The entire room is moving in California again. Oh my goodness!
You guys have been getting hit big time. I see you moving. Holy cow!
It's like moving. Oh my God! It will not stop.
Still going?
Yeah, like I'm freaking out.
Don't freak out, man. I see you moving. I see your microphone moving around. Still going?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think you're having aftershocks for that big one that you guys had the other day.
Okay. Is it dying down? I think it is.
Crazy.
We're live on the air. Hey, that's a viral video, Murf. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? You were talking about your family.
No, that's all right, man. You're good, huh? Nothing falling off the shelves or nothing?
Nah, you could just see it like moving a little, and then I feel the ground. It was just rolling.
Yeah, I got very vivid memories of earthquakes, especially the big one in '89.
It wasn't a 7.1 like it was the other day. I'm thinking this one was like a 4 or maybe a 5.
It was enough to move your camera. I mean, we could see it jiggling around there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay. Well, sometimes that could be my desk. Let me be honest with you. I don't know.
No, that wasn't your desk. It was moving. You could see it. Yeah, that was cool.
We were having one. All right, let's move on. Okay, so
anyway, so there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a draft podium set up, and you have your jersey there, and so you could take a picture. It looks like the kids got drafted, and there's just tons and tons of fun stuff to do. So, anyways, this was part of it where we were wandering around.
Snake shirt. That's a cool snake shirt.
Yeah, so that's RaidersSnakePit.com. Steve Corcoran, former member of I think it was Contra Costa Times. He now does Raider Snake Pit with Bill Williamson, and he's been on our show a couple of times, and that's his website is Raider Snake Pit. And so my son Vinny, that's what he likes to rock, that snake shirt. And their proceeds go to the Stabler XO Foundation, which is the other big Raiders charity. Along with Bolitnikoff, there's the Stabler Foundation, and that's what the proceeds from their website goes to that. So that's why it's snake on the shirt.
Just when Johnny is working with the Stabler Foundation as well.
Sure is. Yeah. Yep.
We've talked. There it is. Quickly, we talked about it a lot at the end of the show, but let them know about your new episode of Tales from the Nation on Murf's Fan Cave. The link is below. Yeah,
so we covered Super Bowl 18 and 3 fantastic moments from that Super Bowl, January 22nd, 1984, when the Raiders won their 3rd championship by beating the Washington Redskins 38-9. And we covered 3 big-time plays in there. That show is on the Murf's Fan Cave feed, so on any podcast service, so check it out. And thank you, Just Win Johnny, for that amazing artwork for that show, man. He killed it on that artwork. It's one of my favorites. So thanks to Johnny, and thank you to all of those of you that have already listened to the show. It's been a lot of fun.
I cannot wait for the next episode. Honestly, I'm very much enjoying it, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Your thoughts on the Tahir Whitehead lizard mask? Should the NFL let players wear masks with like creatures or features or whatever? Like, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. They're not going to let them do it because they don't make any money off of it, and which you know how this thing goes.
They should make it. They should brand it, like its images.
Yeah, but they're not going to, it's going to have to, but that's not NFL related. They get weird about their uniforms, man. They don't want anybody doing anything. It's like, they don't even let them wear, had to give them a special day to wear whatever kind of shoes they want to wear. You know what I mean? Like, let alone wearing a visor that's got but I think it's cool looking, it definitely is cool looking, but they're not going to let them do it.
I'm like freaking out every time I'm hearing something or feeling something. I'm like, is it an earthquake? I don't even know anymore. I think they should. How fun would it be for a quarterback to look back at a reptile? Like, pretend another player had like a snake, right? On the Denver Broncos or whatever, a snake mask. And then Derek Carr, he looks at it or something. So then the next time they played the Broncos, Derek Carr would put a mask on of like a predator that eats snakes. And he'll be like, well, there you go. I got the predator that eats your snake. I think it would be fun. I don't know. I would love it. As long as they can see. What do you think of the logo, the new 60th Raider logo patch that they're going to wear?
I love it, man. I think it's great. And I liked how they reference that it's going to go through changes throughout the course of the season. So I'm going to assume that the majority of the patch stays intact in terms of the lettering and the numbers and with the years and all that. But then like this one, like there's the owl torch, right, is in the middle of the 60. So maybe the next one has the 3 Lombardi trophies, right? And then the next one has whatever. I think that's kind of the direction that they'll go with it. And I think it's pretty cool, man. I like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. More than I thought about it and looked at it, I didn't dig it. I love the Al Davis torch thing, and I just looked up an article that I'm going to present on the Raider News of all the people that signed and lit the torch. There's a list now from every year of everybody that did it officially, so I'm looking forward to presenting that and reading that. But And if it's going to go through changes, I didn't read that, but I'm hoping it looks like it's in the 60s, that type of design. And I'm hoping maybe, it'll have a change like the 70s, the 80s, like different designs where it could be more modernized. Like just when Johnny from One Nation Fanwear was saying that the NFL could modernize a lot of these logos to look more computer-esque or technology-wise or a little bit better. And I think for a patch, if they're going to change it, like you said, or have different versions, I would like one of them really modernized, at least one of them.
Yeah, Johnny's got a great eye for this stuff. I mean, it's what he does for a living, for crying out loud. He knows more than I do, but I don't like that. I don't like things modernized in terms of our team. There's a reason that our logo and our for the most part, hasn't changed since its inception. I mean, it's gone through a couple incarnations, but those were very early on in its life. And our color scheme has never changed. We've had small changes to the uniform, but for the most part, the things haven't changed because that's the legacy of the Raiders. The Raiders are all about tradition. There are certain teams, whether that be the Packers and the Bears or the Raiders in this case, where I don't want to see it change. I don't want to see different.
Yeah, not the logo or anything. I know what you're saying, but
even the style. Now, hear me on this.
We're going to Vegas. We got to have different designs. We got to be modernized in some aspects.
I don't care if we're going to Mars, man. I don't want it to. I don't want to see it updated. No, I want to see old-looking things. I mean, and Vegas is very retro. You look at the way that Vegas designs are and stuff, and the way that the architecture of typically the interiors especially, Vegas is very old school. And if you think about all the Rat Pack and Elvis and all that stuff and Wayne Newton and all that, that's all throwback. It's all retro stuff.
It's disappearing. Let's be honest, it's disappearing.
Yeah, but not in case of the But not in the case of the Raiders, though, man. I don't. No, what I like the old styling of it, and I think that they should continue with that. Yeah, I don't want to see
that. Sweet Murf Donkashay. All right. The only thing I'm going to say, you were talking about we should go to the Mars, but hopefully they don't use a tinfoil spacecraft to land on Mars like they did with the moon. A tinfoil and metal rod spacecraft landed on the moon. Boom, boom, boom. Mikey's craziness. All right. What do you think of this Raiderette when they had their event to bring in the new class of cheerleaders? One of the former Raiderettes, the classic legacy ladies, wore this 900-pound chain with a big Raider shield, kind of like Mikey Raider does, and a lot of other Raider fans. What do you think about that? I want to marry this woman. She is balling out as a Raiderette.
Yeah, I think it's freaking awesome, man. Heck yeah, I think it's great, man. That's great. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's old school. That's old school. That's Raidery right there. Dig it.
That's just crazy to see a blonde, supposedly classy woman, coming to meet the new Raiderettes, and she's like, I got my dog chain on. I got my bling bling.
And that's like a toe chain, Raider. Man. That thing's yeah.
Look at that chain. It's like
that thing's
legit.
Not be gold
with platinum.
Yeah.
You think 50 Cent let her borrow it? I don't know.
I don't know. We could pull a Camry out of a ditch with that thing, man. That thing's gnarly.
That's what I'm saying. It's amazing. I want to meet this woman. I want to do an interview and find out why she wore that. Normally, they're like, we're going to put on my good earrings, my little logos. She's dog chain. Sorry. Probably Vontez Burfict's wife. I'm sorry. I just thought that was funny. All right, Murf, we're going to take a couple of phone calls that we had, and we're going to answer and talk about their questions online. You got the first phone call, Murphy?
Sure do.
Thanks, brother.
Yo, Mikey, this Hardcore Raider coming at you from Donkeyville. I want to talk about this ranking of the Raiders fan base ranked 17, which is complete hogwash. So I got two takes, man. One, first of all, it's Raider Nation. We're the only team fan base that has a slogan like Raider Nation, where you have 31 other teams trying to copy us, just like in the draft. You have the Cowboys claiming Cowboy Nation, Panther Nation, Redskin Nation. It's just out of freaking control. So I've been doing some stuff with Raider Ben podcast and Raider Ben's YouTube channel, so check that out. But what I believe is that Raiders have more Raider-only content than any other NFL team, where you have podcasts and YouTube channels that cover only the Raiders, that don't cover other sports or other NFL teams. So I came up with my own challenge. I'm going to pull $50 out of my own pocket. The first person that comes up with an itemized list of all 32 teams and their podcasts and YouTube channels that cover only that team, no other additional content, no other sports, but only that team. And I guarantee you Raiders are number one. So whoever wants to participate in that, go check out Raider Band Podcast, subscribe, and first person that comes up with that list, and I'll verify it, I'll pull $50 out of my own pocket for a gift card for NFLshop.com. All right, that's all I got. Take care, Mikey. I'm out.
So I saw this on the Pillaging podcast where this guy's hardcore. I mean, he lets you know his thoughts.
He listens to all of our shows, yeah.
Yeah, he curses a lot. So I can't air all of his content, but I love him and thank you very much. And I recently unblocked you. I apparently blocked you for some other reason. So forgive me. But you called the Pillaging podcast, and I listened to it the other day, Hardcore Raider, and you were selling your shows with Raider Ben and everything, and then they even cut you off. They go, "What are you doing? You're selling your podcast on our podcast?" So, are you trying to sell your podcast on our podcast? Hardcore? I'm just kidding. I don't care. I love you. It's all good, brother. Nothing but support. Long story short, you're right. The Raiders have the best fan base in the world. We shouldn't have been ranked 17th. Murf explained it. It was wrong. I don't care. They did another revote or recount by another guy, and he put us at number 5. But the Raiders, and I heard this on your show, Murf, with Swaggy Jeff, even newly crowned, if you will, Swaggy Jeff, who, answered a lot of questions incorrectly to be a Raider fan, but still, he
didn't. He didn't answer.
Dude, he didn't have the answers to a couple of players that were on the team.
It was one question, and no, because Sonny put him on the spot. But no, he didn't miss a whole bunch. He missed one.
I like it, but it was fun. It was fun.
Oh, heck yeah, it was fun. No, yeah.
And then, long story short, but he said something amazing, Swaggy Jeff did. He said that of all the years of him knowing the NFL, or even when I guess he was a Tennessee fan, he said he doesn't remember any other team with people or fans that have the word like Murf Raider, Mikey Raider, or Raider in their name. Like, there's no blank Titan, or maybe one, but not every single person has the name Raider like associated with them. And I love that statement. So I 100% agree. And then quickly, if I can interject, I quickly looked on my phone. I don't know the actual time, if this is what it was, but there was a 4.8 in recent California within the past hour, it said.
There you go.
Somewhere in California. So maybe that was a 4.8, guys. All right, speak on the fan base in Hardcore Raider.
Yeah, on our last episode of RFR, I kind of went in on this pretty heavy, so I'll kind of save rehashing that. But the gist of it to me is this, is that you can't, with the criteria that they chose, this Emory University study that they chose to assemble their assessment of the team, it doesn't take into account the passion of the fan base. And when you listen to like the NFL Network folks, they'll tell you anytime they do anything that has to do anything with social media, the Raiders fans show up, the Raiders end up winning it all because we're active and because and you can't measure that with the criteria because they did it based on like jersey sales and like all these other things, and like, so you just can't do it. Plus we have one of the crappiest stadiums, if not the crappiest stadium in all of football. So it's like, and like when you look at all the stuff that they used, the metrics are just not really fair to the Raiders fan base. And when you look at just in terms of passion and like what he's saying, like what Hardcore Raider is saying in that, Raider Nation's fandom displays different than any other fan base. The creativity that goes into our fandom is unlike any other fan base. And you can't measure that because yes, it's podcasts, it's music, it's art, it's all these different things that create, it's, you know what I mean? You can't judge that. You can't put a number on that. And so these things are just stupid. I don't agree, of course. And I'm going to stick up for Raider Nation no matter what anyways. And of course I'm going to think that we're number one, but we really are. Like he said, like point me to another fan base that has this level of involvement in what they do in their day to day. When we say we're Raider Nation and you say I'm a Raider It means more than just I'm a fan of this football team. It's literally a lifestyle. It's literally a lifestyle that is represented and is on display in us 24/7. It is not a football season thing. It is not a Sunday thing. It is an all day, every day, day and night thing. And so that's what makes us different. And you can't measure that.
Completely. That's why the Raider Nation is like the world in retrospect. There's many different races, cultures, everything. And we all don't see eye to eye. Some are political, some are not. But the truth is we're all Raiders. But it's like the Raider fan base is like the world. So that's why they say the nation is worldwide. Because literally, the Raider Nation is its actual own earth. It's like its own ball, you know? Like where we got different Raider Nation fans that are all different, like different races and everything. We're all just different, but we're all Raider fans. Just like everybody that's different in the earth are human beings. We're just different. So everybody's a Raider fan, but we're just different. And the spectrum is so wide in terms of how different and amazing we all are in our own ways. I don't know if what I said it. I even my brain said crazy when I was speaking right now. My brain was.
It's the
crazy.
most look. It's just say it. It's the most diverse fan base of any team of any sport. We have more cultural diversity within the Raider Nation than any other team. And that's a wonderful thing. It's badass. It's one of my favorite things about it. There's nothing wrong with that.
100%. They could be loving. They could be mean. They could be scary. They could be happy. It's like the world. It's everything.
Yeah.
They could be on every side. But we love them all because we wear silver and black. All right. Let's hear from Tremel Moody.
Hey there, Big Bro Mike. This Tremel Moody. And I had a question. I was just wondering, do you think John Gruden will end up switching Trent Brown and Colton Miller in the middle of the season with everything going bad? Or do you think Derek Carr will actually speak up about having the highest paid tackle getting moved from left to right after he won a Super Bowl from left tackle? I just want to get your answer on that, and also want to just tell you that I love your show. And I also want to say, man, keep the haters hating, because they is the one that motivates us, Raider Nation. I'm out.
Awesome.
Thank you, Tremel. And honestly, these questions are also associated with you, Murf, because you are my show as well. So you are our show. So even though they're saying Mikey, it's because they called my phone line. But I wanted to let everybody know quickly, for the future, if you call and you want to be on this show and ask us a question, leave it under like a minute and then say, hey, Mikey, hey, Murf, and then leave your comment and your rant. So that way I will listen to it and know it will be a part of this show moving forward. Okay? Do that for every show that you're calling in for with the rant hotline above. Do I think that John Gruden's going to switch him? Like I said, I don't think so. Maybe on occasion, maybe in the preseason once or twice, but I don't think he's going to switch him. And do I think Derek Carr is going to speak up about it? I hope he doesn't, because if he does, then that means Colton Miller is having some major issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So you speak on that real quick.
That's it. I agree. I don't think he's going to move, and I think that if it start getting kicked around that he needs to, then that doesn't spell good things for the Raiders. So no.
100%. All right. Kudos, I think, is from the next phone call.
Hey, Mikey Raider. This is Eric Tillison, one of your faithful listeners. I'm a proud card-carrying member of the Mikey Raider Nation.
Right on.
I didn't know I had cards.
Mikey, I just really appreciate the last show you shared with us. When you're going through all those numbers and everything, man, you didn't need to do that, but it just shows of your honest integrity to the family, to the Raider Nation. And, man, you know what? All we want is for you to just keep producing the awesome content that you do. The quality of your show is amazing. Don't listen to anybody that pushes negativity towards you. They don't deserve your time and your expertise. So I just want to say, hey, brother, I really appreciate getting to know you. Please give me a call back. You got my phone number there, hopefully on your voicemail, on your...
if he says his phone number, you can stop it.
Give me a call back. Again, Eric Tillison in Utah, the Stormin' Mormon, representing the Raider Nation.
Awesome job. Good call.
So he said he's a proud carrying card member. Thank you, Eric. I did have cards that I used to give out at the barbecues and the bonfires when I thought like I was a company until they took me away. But I did have cards. Nice. And you showed your card. So maybe he is literally a proud card-carrying member.
Maybe he is. Yeah. Yeah, we got a couple of them. We got one for Raiders Fan Radio. That's that one there. And then there you go. Raiders Fan Radio. Oh, where's my camera? There we go. That. And then we got one for Murf's Fan Cave.
We all went on vistaprint.com for $20, $9.99, and we made cards. To try
the
to
first $250 are free, Mikey.
Yeah, the first $250 are free. Then it's like $5 for another $250, and you get like 1,000 cards.
That's how they get you. The first taste is for free.
All right, let's get into the next caller talking about Incognito and Vontaze Burfict. Thank you, Eric, for the phone call.
All right, Mikey Raider.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
This is D. Raider calling out of H-Town. Just want to leave a few lines on you, man, about Richie Incognito, Dante Burbick. Look, man, I know they're talking a lot of crap about these guys, and they saying that, oh, man, they're going to be a problem. I don't think they're going to be a problem at this point. Both of those guys on the field, yeah, they had penalties and stuff, but I'm going to tell you something about Richie Incognito. Man, this guy's a football player. And at this point in both of them life, they know
him already.
That this is the last stop. And, man, we got a lot of young players. They may hang around for 2 years. They may hang around for 1 year. But what they're going to do, they're going to be actually coaches on the field. And we need some of this toughness for them young cats that we just brought in. And I'm going to tell you something, man. They're going to keep them around. Believe me, Mike Mel and his crew, I hear all this Shannon Sharp and all these football shows talking crap about these players. Man, these players is going to play for the Raiders. I guarantee you. It was me that last year told you when these Raider fans, so-called Raider fans, jumping off the bandwagon. Like I told you, I've been a Raider fan since 66, man. Hanging out with John Gruden, man. Because I'm going to tell you something, partner. They're going to put this thing back together. They slowly putting the pieces together. They bringing in the draft choices. They bringing in the minds. Okay, they may not keep these guys, but one thing that's going to happen is some of that toughness from these players is going to rub off, man. And we need that. We need that leadership in there. Because look at it. For us to look around and see how much tough and leadership we got in there. These are veteran players, man. They got coaches. They going to control these guys. Okay, when they act up, they'll get rid of them. But the thing about it is, man, we need players like that right now. We need some help. We got talent. I'm telling you, I'm going to give this thing a year, 2-year turnaround. I guarantee you, this team is going to be reckoned with. All right, Mikey Raider, H-Town, I'm out.
Oh, man, what a call.
I love it. He's such a character, right?
That was a great call. So,
you know he was watching one of my videos, and I said something about Vontaze Burfict or Incognito, and he didn't like it. He's like, listen here, Mikey Raider, Incognito. Yeah, they crazy, but they going to play good, Mikey Raider. I love him already. Call again, brother.
Hey, can I tell you, we on Raiders Fan Radio, we do a thing on our voicemails. We award a Sizzler every week. And can I give this guy an honorary Sizzler? That was a great call.
Sizzler.
Great job on that call, man. That was so good. So good.
If we're talking about places that you like to eat at, and if Sizzler is one of them, because we have restaurants called Sizzler.
Yeah, that's where I got, that's what the start of that was, because that first one is Marshawn in there when he was in high school saying that he was going to take his offensive lineman to Sizzler.
Sizzler. Well, then in that case, I like the Grande Burrito from Del Taco. So for our show or my show or whatever, I'm going to give him, he's the Grande Burrito of the week. He's the Grande Burrito. Grande. Again, I got a Grande Burrito. Grande. D, you are the Grande Burrito of the week.
Crack me up, Mikey. That's fantastic.
If you guys would like to win the Grande Burrito award, you know what? Maybe I should get in contact with him and text his number and say, buy him a Grande Burrito for being the Grande Burrito of the week. Give him like a $6 gift certificate or something to get a Grande Burrito.
You need to get a Del Taco endorsement, it sounds like, man. Get an affiliate link set up, man.
You hear about that, Del Taco?
Let's go, Del Taco.
Del Taco, proud sponsors of Mondays with Mikey and Murf, each and every Monday.
I love it.
Thank you very much, D. All right. just want to let everybody know that Mondays with Mikey and Murf has a technically new logo, new design, new show for this upcoming season. And we will hopefully be beginning each and every Monday starting August 12th at 4 p.m. That will be right after the first preseason game. I believe that's right after the first preseason game. My recollections may be bad. When's the first preseason game, Murf?
I don't know. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. But long story short, we will be live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific unless stuff in life happens, and, we'll figure it out. But there you go. Technically, we're set in stone starting August 12th, 4 p.m. for our weekly Mondays with Mikey and Murf TV show.
Yeah, the 10th is August 10th is the first game.
That's what I was trying to think. I was thinking our show was a couple days after the first game so we can give a review.
Perfect timing. And I think, when does Hard Knocks come out? Is it on the Tuesday or the Wednesday after? I don't remember.
It's on, I think they're on Thursday or Wednesday nights. August 6th is the first Hard Knocks episode.
Okay, so they'll be on, so Wednesday or Thursdays then, okay.
Yep.
All right, sweet.
Sweet. So there it is, Murf. We finished our 2.5 hour show.
Yeah, we were only going to go for an hour tonight, remember?
We were only going to go for about an hour. Then I added some stuff, and I was thinking an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. And now we had a 2.5 hour show. But hey, we're going to get to the swing of things, and I'm going to talk less, I promise.
Yeah, me too. We're hey, it's preseason form, man. We're not in midseason form. If this were midseason form, we'd have been done in like 68 minutes.
Yeah, because Monday Night Football is coming on, and I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah, we're like, all right, we got to get out of here and go watch the game.
All right, first off, I wanted to thank everybody that donated during the show. If I could quickly look back and give you an awesome shout-out for donating during the show, because you deserve it. Let me see if I can pull these up a little by little. Pirate 1975 just donated a little while back, and I don't know how to look at the donations officially from this thing. Maybe I'll figure that out for another show. Adrian Raider, Watch Raider is online, Mean519. Quickly, I just want to give respect to Tarek, Adrian, Victor M, King Gafla, and everybody that stood with us to the end. Literally, we had about 300 people watching live, Murf, during the show in the middle. And then the minute we got to the picture of me and you on the guy's body, like the video views just went down.
They plummeted, huh?
No. They're like, no, it's the end of the show. They're going to sell us T-shirts. They're going to talk about charities. You get it? Because that's how YouTube is. It's all flash. They want the flash, the pizzazz, Mikey Raider without a shirt off. They want a video titled Mikey Raider Quit. Mikey Raider's, dramatic. Mikey Raider's crazy today. Mikey Raider.
You'll never believe what this guy just said.
Telling you, Murf. What do you think about that whole YouTube viral video type title sensation and vlogging? What do you think about it? I know you don't like it. I know you don't, but
no, I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. But that's the way that our I think I'll say this, and I'm going to save everybody the deep political or philosophical discussion, but I'll just say this. I think it is a reflection of what all of media is nowadays. And it doesn't matter if it's political reporting or if it's sports reporting or if it's, music critics or it's movie critics, you name it. Anybody that has everything is now driven by agenda, and it's much less driven by information. And that's one of the things that I pride ourselves on at Raiders Fan Radio and all the Murf Fan Cave shows is that we're not reporters, but we react to information. And if it's and if we're going to speculate, we'll tell you that we're speculating, but we're not going to create the news. And that's what people like Stephen A. Smith to Anderson Cooper to whoever you want, anybody that's in media. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what side, liberal, conservative, none of that matters to me. What matters to me is that if they are a public figure like that, they have an agenda, and that agenda is making money. And when you click on stuff or if you respond to stuff, even if it's because you support it or you disagree with it, either way, if you're reacting to it, you're making them money. So just remember that when you consume your sports media, you're just reacting to things. And that's why, so now your YouTube stuff, they have to react to. So you put Mikey Raider quits, people are reacting. Positively, negatively, doesn't matter. They're reacting to it. They're watching it. They're clicking on it, and it all generates income. And it's just the way the world is nowadays, man. So I would tell you this. above all else, guard your heart. Know what you're consuming and exercise critical thinking, Raider Nation. Let me spin this back to the Raiders before I shut up. Use critical thinking. Take in your information from multiple sources. Take it in from Vic Tafer and from Steve Corcoran and from Matt Schneidman and from all these different sources, and then you formulate your opinion. Don't just regurgitate what someone else's opinion is. Don't just say what we say. Don't just say what, Mike Florio says. You come up with your own thing, but take in multiple sources before you do it.
100%. And again, I deal with a lot of mental stuff. So I was quitting, not the show, not the channel. People love the titles. If they would listen to the video, I said, I'm quitting trying to pretend it's a job because it's freaking me out. But at least I know that my channel can get 9 or 10,000 video views per video, that at least 9 or 10,000 people still possibly care what this channel has to say. So that's what made me proud about that video getting a bunch of views. And I proved the YouTube algorithm right. That video, and I'm not going to say this nowhere else, guys. You guys can take this and say, oh, Mikey Ray is all about money, this or that. That video, I didn't get no donations or anything like you guys have been supporting me. That video made me $140 from the YouTube algorithm without donations. Every other video that I do daily, like on a news show, it adds up to $5 to $15 without donations. So you guys figure that one out. That is crazy. The YouTube algorithm is made for that type of content, and it's just sad. We should have labeled this show Mondays with Mikey and Murf. We got fired. Our show is ending. Murf takes a poop or something like that.
Yeah. There we go. Monday and Mikey with Mikey and Murf not canceled.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't do it. It's like if I took a poop or something, or I had sex.
All right.
Mikey Raider gets a date and loses his virginity.
Well, maybe people do cancel us. Isn't that a thing that the kids say nowadays, that we're canceled?
The canceled culture. That's right.
That's right. Yeah,
that's probably why the video did good. They thought I was canceled. It was a cancel culture.
There you go.
There you go. All right, we've talked too much, but I hope you guys enjoyed.
This was a marathon, man. This was fun though.
The first episode of season 2, I honestly had a great time. I know it was 2.5 hours, but I didn't feel like it, Murf. Like we weren't really ready to get out of here. We had a great time, dude. So I just want to say I love you, Murf. Thanks for being a part of the show. Quickly let everybody know about your website, Murf's Fan Cave. All the links below. Subscribe. If we get 2,000 views, he should have 2,000 subscribers. That being said, take it away, Murf, and say goodbye to the world.
I think we have like 1,600 or close to it. So yeah, if you guys could help us get to $2,000, that would be amazing. That would be a blessing. Our show is audio based, but we definitely have fallen in love with this YouTube live stream on the heels of Mikey's recommendation. And we have a lot of fun with it, man. So you get a live look in the fan cave here as we do Raiders fan radio. So appreciate all the support there. Yeah. And just, all about the t-shirts. You heard me talk a lot about that and about supporting the Blitnikoff Foundation. So last thing I would say, youtube.com/Murf's Fan Cave. Subscribe to us, man. Help us out that way. Keeps us moving up the charts. And the more we move up the charts, the more shirts we can sell. The more shirts we sell, the more money we give to Blitnikoff. So that'd be an awesome thing. And thank you to you, Mikey. It was great to be back tonight, man. This was a lot of fun. It was 2.5 hours. It really did fly by. I can't believe I don't have to pee. But I've been able to hang in there. My 46-year-old bladder is hung in there for the fight for this show, despite me even drinking coffee too. So anyways.
If we had an earthquake, maybe I got a viral video. Maybe it literally was an earthquake. It was my bowel having a movement.
But thank you to all of you that have joined us tonight. I can't read the chat during the show. I can't see it, but I always go back and read it. And thank you to all of you and your support of the Murf's Fan Cave Network and us here at On Air Nation and the Mondays with Mikey and Murf. Man, this is one of my favorite parts of my week as we get up and rolling this thing soon. So a lot of fun Raider stuff to talk about, and hopefully we'll keep bringing the funny and bringing the entertainment side of it as well, not just like hardcore Raider talk, because we gotta be a hardcore, man, because we're Raider fans. You know what I mean? It's like,
you can't have any emotions. You can't be crazy.
Yeah, you gotta be a tough guy all the time. Like, no, it's nice to celebrate the kind of the lighter side of fandom. You know what I mean? So that's what we're here for.
100%, and I will get 100% guaranteed to you, Raider Nation. If you don't like my clickbait titles in my vlogs or me going crazy, it's gonna happen once a week moving forward. I'm telling you that now. I'm gonna make those type of videos just to try to make $100 if I can. So get over it, relax, and I love you.
Make that money,
But tune
Mikey.
it. Say it again.
Make that money, buddy.
Make that money, money, money. I'm making money. That pyramid YouTube money. I'm making money. You ever watch Teen Titans? That's a great show, man. It's a great
My
show.
kids, my boys, that is like they're one of their religions, man. They watch Teen Titans go nonstop. Yes.
Yeah, that's a song from it. I'm making money. The pyramid scheme money. I'm making money. Oh, I love it.
The best one though is Lazy Sunday. That's is it Lazy Sunday? No, it's oh crap. Lazy Sunday was the one from Saturday Night Live. It's the one where they become one with the couch. Because it's lazy. It's Lazy Sunday, bro. Yeah, that's what they said.
It's an episode, right, where he just sits on the couch.
Yeah, and he goes, "I become one with the couch, bro."
Couch.
And
it wasn't a song, but yeah, it was the.
No, it wasn't a song. No. It was just No, that show's amazing. That's an amazingly well written show. The dialogue is fantastic.
Oh my God, I love that show. I watch it when I go to bed. I love it. All right, we've talked too much, but starting August 12th, every Monday, we will be live every week. For you guys to have fun this entire season. Now let's do the thumb dance as Murf does. Let's sing the little outro and let's get on out of here. I love you, Raider Nation, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, honestly. Thank you so much. Because this is Mondays with Mikey and Murf. Come on, everybody, let's dance. We're having good times talking football and Raiders dirt. Because we are in our second season of our talk show. It's Monday and Mikey's Murf. Let's go. We're having good times. It's Mondays with Mikey and Murf. And we'll see you on August 12th. I feel like Captain EO, where they say goodbye at the end and all the little creatures from the Michael Jackson thing, they just say goodbye. We'll see you soon.